Yes.
The judge reading the charges and ultimately entering a not guilty plea for Koberger, who answered questions briefly and directly during the hearing. If convicted, he could face life in prison or execution.
Hey, raise your hand if your allergies are going crazy. Me. Yeah, no kidding. So, if I sound like I'm talking a little slowly, it's because of medicine. The show today will not go by slowly because it's packed. Absolutely packed. Let's start with, I'll let Hannah handle the YouTube poll in a second. I'll tell you the guest. Jason Chaffetz, big guest. Going to be at 12:25. Former Fox News contributor now, author of They Never Let a Crisis Go to Waste, Power Grab, and the Deep State.
I don't know if they can hear anything you're saying because your camera is completely frozen.
Hello? Can you see me doing this with my shoulders, or am I frozen?
What to spend and what to cut. The president and McCarthy talk at the White House late this afternoon. Talks just resumed among White House aides and McCarthy deputies at the Capitol. McCarthy believes that liberals like Bernie Sanders are pushing the president to extremes, especially when advocating for more spending and using the 14th Amendment to deal with the debt crisis.
Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. The president accuses Republicans of extreme positions and says a deal won't be reached solely on what they want. America is listening to Fox News.
At Simply Safe, we design award-winning security to protect every inch of your home. It's easy to set up yourself, and now there's an even easier option. Have an expert do it for you with Simply Safe Pro Install. Always protecting, never a contract. 2 easy installation options, backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. Get 20% off any new system with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our high temperature this afternoon should top out at about 82 degrees. Plenty of sunshine out there. Tonight, clear skies dominate. 70s for evening plans. 55 for the low. Tuesday, partly to mostly sunny, 85. Let's keep it going. Wednesday, sunny, 85. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sunny and 80. No big storms in sight. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Business owners, are you feeling the pressures of running your business? There's a limit to what you can do and still keep employees engaged. Insperity can help. They put 30 plus years of HR experience to work to help you with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving your employees competitive benefit options. And because you're able to focus on other priorities, your employees can thrive and your business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Full service HR, employee benefits, HR technology. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
The Closet Factory is wonderful at solving some of those big problems that you might be facing when it comes to disorganization or concerns that you might have with clutter in your house. When you have the Closet Factory come in and they provide you the brainstorming that you might need, you might have a solution all mapped out already about what you're going to do to solve this problem with built-in shelving, with a closet redo. You might not have any clue. The Closet Factory can help you with that. And I've been highlighting this, and I think it's a really key point to understand. They can do this in your garage as well. They can come into your garage and take the stuff that's on the floor and figure out how to use the vertical space in your garage so that everything has a place, a customized unit for you to store things in your garage. So you can put your car in your garage. That sounds fantastic. If you are thinking about trying to make this happen in your house, this organization and a customized plan unique to your needs, reach out to the Closet Factory at 314-961-4300, 314-961-4300. You can find them online at closetfactory.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Humans can do a lot of amazing things. Fighting bugs? Ew, a bug, get it! Isn't one of them. STEM is powered by active ingredients found in plants to fight off bugs safely and effectively when used as directed. STEM, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
How might this week's big stories impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale with Stifel. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Eric Robert during On the Money every Saturday from 11 till noon right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Joe Biden and the radical left are attacking every single rung of the ladder that helped me climb. And that's why I'm announcing today that I'm running for president of the United States of America.
Hey, at least the dude is excited about it. I listened to a majority of the speech from Senator Tim Scott, and I don't care if he is your front runner for the presidency or you think he doesn't stand a chance because Trump, am I right? Here's the deal. This dude is an American success story. And if you don't know Senator Tim Scott very well, get to know this guy. His voice, in my opinion, lent to the conversation about Joe Biden or not. Do we want somebody else running for president? Do we want to vote for somebody who has ideas that are different than Joe Biden? I listen to what Tim Scott has to say, and I hear ideas that are different than Joe Biden. A lot of the other people who might be considered front runners in this presidential race are people who have records. Donald Trump is not an outsider anymore, folks. He doesn't get to be the outsider because he's been the president for 4 years. In fact, what I continue to hear from people who support Donald Trump and love Donald Trump, and I get this, is that the reason they want him to be the guy is because they believe very much so that he knows all the ins and outs of where we need to weed out the swamp. And you don't get to know the insides to weed out the swamp if you're an outsider. You've got to have become an insider, which Donald Trump has done, and implemented some really strong conservative policies in doing so. When you listen to Tim Scott talk, the senator from South Carolina, a black senator who is a Republican, who likes to say that in his lifetime, in his mother's lifetime, they've been able to watch their family go from the cotton fields to Congress. That is an incredibly powerful American story. Just period, full stop. Fight me on that. You'll be wrong if you disagree. It is an incredible success story. When he was delivering his speech, I was listening to it in my car, and I'm always kind of curious the comparison between if you're watching a room surrounding a candidate like Tim Scott and he's delivering this speech and, you know, he's getting excited. That's very different than hearing every inflection in the voice of your consuming it through audio only. And so I was taking it in, and what I heard was a man who is joyful about America. And that struck me as unique. I didn't hear anger, but I did hear commitment. I didn't hear dissatisfaction as much as I heard a clear plan on how to move forward and a decisive categorizing of all the different places where we in our country are headed the wrong way, and we need to get that ship corrected. Tim Scott spoke clearly to it. If he's not going to be the president of the United States, I hope that the person who is listens closely to what this man has to say. Here's one of the things, more unifying things he said.
We need a president who persuades not just our friends and our base. We need a president that persuades. We have to do that with common sense, conservative principles, but we have to have a compassion for people. We have to have a compassion for people who don't agree with us. We have to believe that our ideas are so strong and so powerful and so persuasive that we can actually take it to the highest points in the world and be successful.
When he talks about reaching out to people who don't just agree with us, when he talks about, throughout the course of his speech, when he is saying that we need to go to the places where it's not just about firing up the base, it's not about just getting those people whose hearts are on fire for the cause to show up and vote. First of all, of course, you have to get those people, but it can't stop there. You can't be the person who is solely most loved by the base. You have to be willing to expand on that. Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina knows what it's like to not look like what the Democrats say Republicans are. He understands what it's like to be a marginalized minority group because he doesn't think the way the left tells him he must. Senator Tim Scott is a black man from South Carolina, representing that southern state in the United States Senate. And he has been accused of some of the worst possible things. Why? Because his skin color doesn't match the appropriate line of thinking, according to the Democrat Party.
When I cut your taxes, they called me a prop. When I refunded the police, they called me a token. When I pushed back on President Biden, they even called me the N-word. I disrupt their narrative. I threaten their control. The truth of my life disrupts their lives.
Listening to Tim Scott squarely in the face of the political party out there who says, this is what you must think. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what your gender is, your sexuality. It doesn't matter what your religion is. If you are on the left side of the aisle, you will be told what you are allowed to think. A far, far departure from the classic liberals of decades ago. The people who allow you, I say allow you, the people who know that they can't stop you from thinking the way you want to think about the issues based on the perspectives that you have, folks, that's on the conservative side of the aisle. There's a consistency on the left of people who are going to be out there telling us individually, if you're a woman, this is how you think. If you're black, this is how you think. If you're a Christian, this is who you are. If you're a Republican, this is what that means. They all say
you got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Senator Tim Scott, your move. We have to get to a place in this country where that First Amendment, the numero uno, the First Amendment, is upheld by the American people to the point where even if you disagree with somebody, you still understand the value in America about being able to formulate your own thoughts. That's not the way we are in the political climate that we share today. And I will even say, too, that on the right side, in this primary, there is a lot of litmus testing going on right now that suggests that you need to prove your allegiance to the correct person. Otherwise, you're a traitor. I challenge everybody listening right now on the left side of the aisle or on the right side of the aisle to figure out what matters to you and to your family. What are those key issues that are affecting your life on a day-to-day basis? And then look at what's happened in the last 2 years, in the last 4 years, in the last 6 years, in the last 10 years, and compare notes. You'll see where you fall on the political spectrum. Some of you are going to fall on the left. Some of you are going to fall on the right. But don't ever, to any politician, give up your right to make up your own mind. That is un-American. And listening to Tim Scott walk through his plan for his campaign to be the president of the United States. Again, I'm not saying he's my candidate, but I've liked Tim Scott every day that I've heard him speak. He nails it every single time. He is honest. He is successful, and he loves this country. He doesn't believe, as a minority person in this country, that there is a fundamental brokenness about the land that we live in that needs to be changed. He believes in the ideas that created this country, and he wants to bring them back so that everybody can have a story just like Tim Scott's story.
I'm living proof that God and a good family and the United States of America can do all things if we believe. Will you believe it with me? Will you join the team of the greatest nation on God's green earth? I love it. Let me close with this. May the Lord bless us for another 1,000 generations. May He be gracious towards us. I believe the next American century starts today.
Man, if that doesn't give you a goosebump or two, wake up. Listen to somebody who is excited about this country. Listen to somebody who is on fire for this country. Listen to somebody who understands the prosperity of the United States of America and how he's lived it. He is an embodiment of what makes this country great. There is an entire political movement that touches both sides of the aisle that wants to tell you that this country is so far past saving that it should be destroyed. There is an entire group of people who are profiting off of the idea that this country is lost. There is an entire political movement that has led into this moment in time that told you that the way this country is needs to be torn down and it needs to be fundamentally transformed. They've worked very hard and been very successful in those efforts. But if you hear Tim Scott talking, and he says that it starts today, in his words, you just go, I'm just going to soak this in for a minute. Because I feel like going on my front porch and waving a flag for the cars that pass by, because maybe that'll be contagious and just make people feel good about the red, white, and blue. Just for 5 minutes. Can we take it for 5 minutes? Senator Tim Scott is a great American. I think he's polling at 2%. But I'll tell you this. In the 2016 election, Jeb Bush was the anointed one, and Donald Trump was being entertained and pushed along by the left-leaning media because they wanted to see the circus come to town. And then Donald Trump, ahead of the game, connected with the American people and showed the American people that he was willing to fight for them in a way that they'd never seen anybody fight before. And I only say this so that you understand that nobody knew what Donald Trump was about to do to politics. And everybody was assuming, here we go with Jeb. And boy, were they completely wrong. We don't know nothing yet about what's going to happen. And if you think that there's anything out there that is made in the shade, make sure that you're behind your horse in this race, because every single person is going to need the support of people who believe that they hold in their hand the solutions for the American people. And anybody who's talking to you about benefiting themselves instead of the American people, send them packing. When we come back, I hope to connect with Jason Chaffetz. He's a Fox News contributor, but he also served in Congress on committees with Tim Scott and with Ron DeSantis. We're going to ask him about two big announcements, one that we've heard today from Tim Scott and another that we expect later this week regarding the 2024 presidential race. Let's get to Jason Chaffetz when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
FullyDentalGroup.com, 618-288-9670. If you are looking for a new dentist, if you're looking for someone who can give you a second opinion, I know that in my past dental health, I was going to one new dentist and I went there and they're like, you have 6 cavities or something outrageous. And I had never had a cavity before in my life. When I went to get a second opinion, it turned out I really at that time didn't need to have any of those cavities filled. And I don't think I've had that many cavities filled since then. And it was like when I was in college. Sometimes you just want a second opinion. Fully Dental Group is there to give that to you, to make you feel comfortable, to make sure that your dental health really kind of covers your whole health. And they do a fantastic job at that. How are you sleeping? Other issues that you might be dealing with when it comes to sleep disordered breathing. 80% of adults with moderate or severe sleep apnea go undiagnosed. 90% of children with sleep disordered breathing symptoms go undiagnosed. These are all issues that Fully Dental Group can help you with, along with the cavity fills or the root canals or the cleanings. This is the general 6-month checkup. 618-288-9670, FullyDentalGroup.com.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
For more than a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. More than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. AM radio is also the backbone of the emergency alert system, which keeps us safe in dangerous times. It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Shows that make a difference. Mark Cox, Brian Kilmeade, Annie Frey, Mark Reardon and Dana Lesh, Heidi Harris, Wiggins America. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
And he knows it's gone. Don't wait for
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
He goes, and he cries all night.
Joe Biden and the radical left are attacking every single rung of the ladder that helped me climb. And that's why I'm announcing today that I'm running for president of the United States of America.
Well, I can't run away. Why don't you let me go? Say
Well, you know, when you hear that kind of fire and passion for your country in all things political, to me, it's just refreshing to hear somebody love their country that much. And I am so grateful for the opportunity to have our next guest on the show with us. Jason Chaffetz joins us, Fox News contributor and author, and you can check him out at jasoninthehouse.com. Fresh out off of Outnumbered. Jason, thank you for squeezing us in your day today.
Oh, hey, glad to join you, Annie.
So when you've got a lot of friends that are getting in this race, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Tell me about Tim Scott.
I feel like an underachiever, Annie. I feel like, wait, Tim Scott's running for president. Ron DeSantis is running for president. Like, well, you know, Mark Meadows was chief of staff to the president. Like, yeah, they all are doing pretty well. Look, I'm exceptionally proud of Tim Scott in his announcement today. His story is quite remarkable. His road to success and overcoming obstacles. He's got this positive Reagan-esque type of message that I think that's going to resonate with people all across the country.
You know, that's something I want to ask you about, because the idea of populism and Trumpism and all of that, there's a lot of people who are trying to define what the personality of the Republican Party is today. But just before we went to a break, I'll remind people that going into the 2016 election, Jeb Bush was the guy until he wasn't. And then the whole thing got turned upside down because Donald Trump came on the scene and changed the game. I got to think it's possible that the game could change at any time if that's what the voters want to have happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, Donald Trump is so far out, and it feels like he's lapping people at this point. But it does have a long way to go. I think Tim Scott's appealing to a big segment of the population, and he's got nothing but a positive message. And I think the tone is maybe different than some of the others that we've seen, in that he was very focused on Biden and Harris and the difference between his message of growth and economic opportunity and freedom and liberty and school choice and closing the borders. That was very focused on Biden, was not focused on anybody else in the Republican field, which, again, I would argue is very Reagan-esque.
Yeah. We're speaking with Jason Chaffetz, a Fox News contributor and author of the book, They Never Let a Crisis Go to Waste, Power Grab and the Deep State. I know that you've also served in the House with Ron DeSantis, and all of these different candidates, we assume that he's going to announce officially later this week. But these candidates, they all have different angles on, why them for the nomination. But the difference between all of these Republican candidates and Joe Biden is incredibly stark.
Yeah, this is when we get to there's two races, right? Getting the nomination is, for many of them, the hardest thing in the world to do. But once you get the nomination, whoever a nominee is, the general election, I think they smell blood in the water, so to speak, because Joe Biden is a weak communicator. The economy is doing poorly. There's not much to get excited about. And the promise of Joe Biden was to unite the country, and all he's done is divide us. And I don't think that bodes well going into a general election. Let me finish the job. I don't know that that's a winning formula for success, especially when you're such a weak voice, prone to gaffes in every moment. And Kamala Harris is no help at all.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Do you think Joe Biden he's the nominee? I mean, it's just hard to believe that he's going to be the guy still, but it looks like, I guess he is. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, he keeps saying he is. My prediction, I've said publicly, I don't think he'll be the candidate by the end of this calendar year. But I just don't. I think at some point he will drop out of this race. But maybe not. If they think that Trump's going to be there, a lot of Democrats will say, well, Biden beat him before by, staying down in the basement, not debating, not doing those things. Let's just do that again. And that may be the clarion call that you hear the Democrats make.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. How do you feel about this race and how dramatically it changes if there is a day maybe before the calendar year is over and Joe Biden decides to change his mind, not run, and then we see maybe a Gavin Newsom get in, a Michelle Obama get in, whoever else might be, J.B. Pritzker, my wonderful governor here in the state of Illinois. I mean, there are some people who could be much more effective at communicating a far, far leftist progressive agenda. Seems even more scarier for the country in some ways.
Yeah, because the Democrats really have lurched to the left. I remember when Bernie Sanders was saying that Joe Biden will be the most progressive president ever, and he's been right. He's been spot on. He's been absolutely right. So, when you don't have time to gear up and build a campaign organization, every day that ticks down, they have less and less time to get prepared. But I still think Susan Rice would be in that mix. I think it'll change the dynamic by ignoring Iowa. It changes it in the general election, right? They're not going to do Iowa first. Iowans will take that out on Democrats. They will not forget that. Joe Biden's not even on the ballot in New Hampshire. I mean, explain that one to the public. And then, they're going to start with South Carolina. And here you have Tim Scott, probably the most popular person in South Carolina. So the Democrats have a lot to think about.
Well, I think it's important the way you're laying out, both timeline and maps and the way we do elections in this country. I see a lot of polls. Donald Trump is running away with a lot of these polls, but it is important to look state by state and know those 5 or so states that have decided a few of these most recent elections in big, big ways. What do you think about the way polling is right now with the Republican candidates that are in, and how do you compare that to what will be reality? You put a lot of stock in it?
Well, they're so volatile. But again, Donald Trump's lead is huge. But I think what most of the other candidates will argue is, I'm the one best positioned to beat Biden and the Democrats. You heard that from Tim Scott today. You'll hear that from Ron DeSantis. You'll hear that from the other candidates. But right now, what takes the wind out of their balloon is Donald Trump is like 7 points ahead of Biden, if you were to believe the blend of the polls. But it's still May. It's not even Memorial Day. So we got a ways to go.
Yeah, I agree. And we also have more pressing issues facing us immediately right now. I'm going to play for you a clip here from Congressman Andy Biggs.
Well, Harris, that's premature to ask because we don't even know what they're talking about. We know that they're meeting. We know that the president wants to spend more money. He wants to continue deficit spending, and he doesn't want to bring the number down that you have to increase the debt ceiling, or that he's asking to increase the debt ceiling. So all of those pressures indicate that he's actually more intractable perhaps today than he was even a week or so ago. So we don't know what we're even talking about right now, Harris.
So Jason Chaffetz with us right now. You've been in Congress. You know how these negotiations work. And it sounds right now like maybe they're not really at a place where they're about to make a deal. What's your front row seat to all of this? What's your opinion on it?
Well, yeah, I've been to this rodeo a couple times. Deadlines compel action, and there is no hard, fast deadline. My guess, this is my prediction, Annie, on your show, is that this won't get resolved till about July 1st, maybe even July 2nd or 3rd, right before the holiday, when America isn't paying attention. That's usually when these things go down. Treasury will suddenly say, oh, we have a little bit more time because the revenues are up. Look, House Republicans are in a good place. They actually passed a piece of legislation that does raise the debt ceiling, and it does other things as well. But that puts the pressure, all the pressure, on Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer to figure out what in the world could pass over in the Senate. And the onus is really on them. If I'm House Republicans, I sit back and say, hey, we did our job. We raised it. You haven't. So you got to come up with something.
What are your thoughts, Jason, on the president of the United States saying that he won't have any blame if this goes south fast? It's not at all on him.
Well, I think Democrats in general think, oh, well, the traditional, mainstream media, they never blame us for anything. There's a lot of truth in that. And so Republicans have to be really good on messaging, and usually they're not. So odds are he's probably right on that, but they could have resolved this 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Why he hasn't been at the table talking, thinking this through, only Joe Biden can answer that.
We're speaking with Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz. Before I let you go, I want to get your thoughts as somebody who was the former chairman of the Oversight and Government Reform Committees in the United States House of Representatives, watching what James Comer has been revealing to the American people, specifically about Joe Biden and the business deals that connect to the president of the United States. Hunter Biden and Joe Biden there, I should say. What are your thoughts on the process that they've been going through, the way that they've kind of meticulously brought information to the American people to kind of explain this is what we want to do next? Do you think they're doing a good job?
Fantastic job. And remember, they didn't get a running start at it because Congress really, we hadn't solidified who the speaker was until January. And so to get that done in that short amount of time, hats off to the committee and James Comer for doing that. Nevertheless, I think one of the big issues is now that we get to the nitty gritty and they've issued subpoenas, how are they going to enforce those? Because right now, if you're going to issue a subpoena on the Department of Justice, the Department of Justice is the one that has to enforce that and potentially prosecute on that. They should, but they have a long, rich history of never doing that. So until the House really stands up for itself, I think they're going to struggle at best to get the enforcement of these subpoenas the way that they need them.
And just to follow up on that question, if you don't mind, the enforcement of, or getting us back to a place where we have equal justice, the phrase that we continue to hear, no one is above the law. Well, it sure doesn't feel like that if you're on the right side of the aisle. Is that something that's going to have to come from the Oval Office?
No, I mean, it should. They should just say, hey, let the chips fall where they may. That's the approach Donald Trump said. When the Mueller investigations, bring it on. He let it. He had his attorneys didn't claim attorney-client privilege or let him talk. Donald Trump went way out on a limb because he knew he was clean.
Yeah.
And but this administration right now, oh no, they got all the roadblocks up and all the stiff arm to the committee. Won't even show. There's a very specific document that they asked for about a whistleblower. They know the date, they know the time. It's one document, and it took Speaker McCarthy calling Christopher Frey, the FBI director, to say, you need to show us this. And Frey reluctantly, supposedly, according to McCarthy, is going to show it to him. But we'll see if that actually happens. I don't know that it will.
Well, you said the key thing there, which is the Mueller situation and Donald Trump. Donald Trump knew he was clean, so he said, let's go. And then it makes you wonder why maybe Biden's throwing up all these roadblocks. But I guess we'll have to rely on the House Republicans to find out. Jason Chaffetz, thank you so much for the time today. Grateful for the opportunity to speak with you. Yep.
Appreciate it.
We'll talk to you again soon. Jason Chaffetz, Fox News contributor, author of the book you should check out, They Never Let a Crisis Go to Waste, Power Grab and the Deep State, and also the former chairman. He was in that chair that we see James Comer in of the Oversight and Government Reform Committees in the United States House of Representatives. Go tweet at him at Jason in the House. We'll be back in just a minute with Wiggins America and the Monday Roundup. A lot of great stuff there from Jason Chaffetz. If you didn't hear the whole thing, hit that rewind button on the Odyssey app or check out the Annie Frey Show podcasts. Also, in light of that conversation with Jason Chaffetz, your opportunity, if you so choose, to go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Grade the House GOP. Is it an A, a B/C, a D, or an F? Let us know what you think about how the House GOP is doing so far, and I'll give us those results at the end of the show. We'll be right back.
Oh, I've been in weakness and I'm hungry. That's why I've gone away only every single day lonely. Well, I can't run away. Why don't you let
You're
me
listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Illinois Family Institute, online at illinoisfamily.org. Have you signed up for their newsletter or their email alerts yet? You're going to want to do that so you can stay informed to some of the wild things that are going on in Springfield. We had a great conversation on Friday with Dr. Skop, and she was talking to us about chemical abortions. And if you hadn't heard about chemical abortions, this is definitely something you want to know about. And the Illinois Family Institute has information on their website about what is taking place. Now that Roe v. Wade has been overturned, the state of Illinois, their destination for people who want to seek out abortions. If you want to be informed on these issues and also know when you can take action to hopefully sway the state back to some more common sense legislation, the Illinois Family Institute is there to help you with that. Their mission is to boldly bring biblical perspectives to public policy, and you can participate in that by visiting them online at illinoisfamily.org and also signing up for email alerts and commentaries that help you take action and learn about the issues of the day. You can find them online at illinoisfamily.org.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Rooney. Do you have an old car that's taking up room in the driveway? Repairs are costly and selling is a hassle? That's why you should donate it to Goodwill. Donating is quick and towing is free. Plus, you get a tax receipt and 4 tickets to a Cardinals game, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a win-win. For more information or to donate, visit online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention Cardinals.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Ad paid for by Abadian and Totalian. COVID-19 was tough on businesses. If you experienced a negative impact to your business during the pandemic and have at least 5 W-2 employees, then you need to pay attention. There are some new powerful incentives that have been created specifically for businesses impacted by COVID-19. One such program is the Employee Retention Credit. Its tax incentive could bring you some serious cash back to your business. Even if you received a PPP loan in 2020 or 2021, you were still permitted to receive this credit. There are many ways to be eligible, and taking advantage of this tax credit doesn't need to be complicated. We made it easy for you by doing the legwork to maximize the amount of your refund due. Call us today at 800-874-1654 and we'll set your business up to take full advantage of the Employee Retention Tax Credit. That's 800-874-1654. Again, 800-874-1654. We'll get the ball rolling on getting you and your business some much-needed relief, but time is limited to file a claim. So call 800-874-1654.
Well, just how linked are the debt ceiling negotiations to the economy at large? We'll find out with Stephen Moore. He is our guest at 1:07. Right now, the time is 12:45, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Awesome. That's what I'm talking about.
97.1 FM Talk.
I look forward to hearing the station all day.
Everyone is welcome. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Wiggins! Oh! Monday Roundup! Yeehaw! Yeehaw! It is Monday, and it is time for the Monday Roundup. Looking at the stuff we might have missed over the weekend. The first story is about Joe Biden, and it's about polls. It says, as president, Joe Biden embarks on his re-election campaign. Just 33% of American adults say they approve of his handling of the economy. And in related news, roughly 33% of America is not paying attention to anything, apparently. Also in this poll, only 24% say the national economic conditions are in good shape, which you put those together. That means that roughly 10% of America says that, yeah, it's in bad shape, but it's not really Joe Biden's fault.
That's a lot of numbers. I think that Joe Biden sucks.
I think that is what this poll is confirming. Actually, the vast majority of America saying that it's roughly 66% saying he is not handling the economy well.
So the vast majority of Americans think Joe Biden sucks.
At least according to the economy.
Okay.
On the economy. Yeah. Public approval of Biden's handling of the economy remains low in a time of still high inflation, difficult housing market. I mean, it's hard to find something that's really going well in this economy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are maybe little numbers here and there that say that the unemployment rate's still remaining somewhat low, but overall, America is not approving of Joe Biden's handling.
How great is it to have an unemployment rate that's super low? But like I was just visiting with Slim 180. If you're looking for a job, apply at Slim 180. I've talked to the Diamond Shop. They can't find anybody. They're hiring. Go to the Diamond Shop if you're a salesperson, you want to work for great people selling really beautiful things. Everybody I talk to can't find anybody to hire, but the unemployment rate is super low. So we have a super low unemployment rate and nobody working in jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
300% of people think Joe Biden sucks, according to a poll that I just took myself. And I just answered it 3 times.
Of myself, 3 times. It's interesting, too, because like Annie was describing, that means that there's something keeping people from seeking employment.
Yeah, the freaking government and Joe Biden, which is why they love him. Solve that problem.
My honest theory that I've been holding to for well over a year now, maybe 2, is that it's not even the new government benefits that have been passed after COVID. A lot of that stuff's expired now. It's existing government benefits that have existed for a long time that a whole percentage of our population discovered during
but
COVID.
You don't have to work.
That's my point. Yeah.
You're not going to go hungry. You're not going to go unsheltered. You're not going to go in need. If you have kids, they're going to be provided for. Do I want kids to not be provided for? No, but go freaking provide for them and stop. I mean, listen to Tim Scott's whole speech, because when he says, if you were an able-bodied person, go to work. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, go to work. Do the thing.
I think I've said this before. It's been a while, though, that when I was self-employed for about 4 or 5 years in between radio jobs doing TV stuff, I bought into, we didn't have enough employees to have our own insurance. So I bought into the marketplace and I discovered all the loopholes of Obamacare while doing that. And one of the main ones is you don't want to show that you make any money because you get better subsidies. I mean, that's
what you do when you pay your taxes
across the board. Yeah. But I mean, that's so that you can get better health insurance. I mean, it's a backward system to show that you don't make any money, basically incentivizing you to not make money,
But in the market,
save money.
but in the marketplace, it's being incentivized by the taxpayers.
Yes, exactly. All right, story number 2 here is, and we would identify with this as golfers ourselves. Tour Pro.
Well, 3 out of 4 of us.
Yeah. Sorry, Hannah.
Mhm.
You won't know what's going on here. I'm sorry.
Is this about Block? I heard about that.
Yeah, it is.
What?
About the hole in one.
I know something
No,
about
you're
sports,
talking about-
but you don't.
You're talking about
You're
the hole in
talking about
one.
a person. Yes.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about like a block, and I'm thinking football. I'm like, what?
No.
kind
We'll
of move are
explain
you
golf
talking
to you
about?
after the show,
Thank
after
you.
the break here.
Thank
Have
you.
Hannah explain it to
Tom
you.
Ackerman, because I know so much about sports right now.
Tom Ackerman's walking through the halls right there right now going, what are they talking about? What are they doing? What did I do?
What the heck, Wiggins? Block. Tour Pro given penalty after ball overhangs hole for more than 10 seconds. Are you aware of this rule?
I'm sorry, what?
So Lee Hodges received a penalty stroke on Saturday at the PGA after he left his ball. Now, if you can see the picture, I'll hold it up if you want to, but it's what I'm describing here is a ball that is right on the edge of the hole. Looks like it could drop at any second. So the rule is that you only have 10 seconds to let it sit before you have to play that ball. And apparently this has happened before. You get a reasonable amount of time, whatever that means, to walk up to the ball. And then once you're there, you can stand there for 10 seconds and hope that the wind blows it or an earthquake happens and the ball drops before you have to play it. And he didn't. And then it did fall in. And so they had to go review, did he take more than 10 seconds to play the ball? And he did. So they had to add a penalty stroke, which is essentially just saying it didn't count.
Wait, are you telling me the ending of Caddyshack isn't the correct ending?
According to PGA rules, apparently, yes.
How long did that scene take?
I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and count.
Count it off.
9.75 seconds.
Yeah. So this is not the first time this has happened. This did not come up, just so you know, if you're listening in Hannah, this did not come up in our round on Friday after our broadcast.
No, because we hit all the balls immediately into the hole.
Yeah. We would just
That's
chip
what
it
we
in.
do. Around the
We tried
hole
to
there.
no putt every hole.
Yes.
We
That's what
actually
tried to do.
accomplished that.
Because
That's not true.
we never
played
hit the
like
ball
5
in.
holes, and we put the ball in the hole.
We put the ball in.
I think we did.
We were on in regulation at least half of
On the
holes.
green, yeah.
Yeah. So we would just automatically take a 2-putt, and I don't think there's
It's a
anything
gimme.
wrong with that. All right, lawmakers to
We had
cut Congress's
75 minutes to play, so we were just breezing through.
going as fast as we could.
It was fun.
Lawmakers to cut Congress's pay if government shuts down. I don't know that anybody's really opposed to this, but the details are that the debt ceiling negotiations are still, in the balance. And House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has told reporters that he believed that they would wait until Joe Biden comes back from the G7 summit in Japan. Now, if they fail to raise the debt limit by June 1st, they could risk their paychecks because U.S. Representatives Abigail Spanberger,
I
who's a
hope
Democrat,
AOC's okay.
I don't know that she will be, and Brian
Or is.
Fitzpatrick, a Republican from Pennsylvania, so bipartisan legislation, says that they would block Congress from receiving pay in the event of a government shutdown. Is anybody really opposed to that? I mean, that seems fair, right?
Well, I would think so.
The only reason I could see it not being a good negotiation tactic for Republicans is that there is never any pressure on Republicans to stand their ground.
Well, like, here's the other thing about that. Does that encourage Congress just to do something to get a bill through so that they get their paychecks?
That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe not.
But rules are rules, and
Yeah.
it seems fair that they would not be paid if nobody else is being paid either. All right, last story. We talked about last week TikTok being banned in Montana, but there is a new trend that is sweeping at least the UK. I don't know if it's made its way over here yet. But
Brace yourself.
These videos, well, seriously, brace yourself,
It's
because
this
if it
band
does,
of guys from Liverpool.
if it does come here, you're going to hate it. This is teens walking into complete strangers' homes and taping it. Just walking in, walking around.
Oh,
sitting down.
What's the Second Amendment rights in
I was gonna
Liverpool?
say.
I don't know.
That doesn't make it here.
Yeah, these videos have been circulating over the weekend. In one particular video that's really gotten a lot of traction, the teens can be seen. I saw this too before the story even came out. Teens can be seen walking into a townhome in London right past a female resident who says, "What are you doing?" Before they just sit on her couch and they make themselves at home.
I would assume they were on drugs, and I would take according actions if my kids were home, especially.
I would think that your safety would be in deep jeopardy if you're walking around.
Absolutely.
And maybe this is a US UK thing where you're not
Yeah.
you're not going to be as in danger of a well-armed homeowner, but man, this would make me so mad because when you walk the video itself, when these kids walk in, you can tell that the people have no clue what's going on and they're threatened. They don't know why. They don't know that these kids are just being kids. They are looking for a weapon. I mean, they're looking to figure out what's going on. And finally, they just say, well, let's just talk for a second. What are you doing here? And they're like, oh, we're just chilling. Can you have some Cheetos? I mean, they're making a light of it, but I can't picture myself being on the other end of that and that going well.
This actually happened to a friend of mine whenever he just moved into his house. Somebody got the wrong address. They opened the door and they said, "Who wants to get naked?" He's like, "Get out."
That took a drastic turn.
Yes.
I just tuned out a second because I was going to tell you that Steve Orr is probably coming up. And when I tuned back in, I was like, what show is this? Where did this go?
Yeah.
Stick around. We'll get more Annie Frey Show right in the corner. Your vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Grade the House GOP, A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know what you think. We'll be back in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
I'm paid for by Abadian and Totally. COVID-19 was tough on businesses. If you experienced a negative impact to your business during the pandemic and have at least 5 W-2 employees, then you need to pay attention. There are some new powerful incentives that have been created specifically for businesses impacted by COVID-19. One such program is the Employee Retention Credit. Its tax incentive could bring you some serious cash back to your business. Even if you received a PPP loan in 2020 or 2021, you were still permitted to receive this credit. There are many ways to be eligible, and taking advantage of this tax credit doesn't need to be complicated. We made it easy for you by doing the legwork to maximize the amount of your refund due. Call us today at 800-874-1654 and we'll set your business up to take full advantage of the Employee Retention Tax Credit. That's 800-874-1654. Again, 800-874-1654. We'll get the ball rolling on getting you and your business some much-needed relief, but time is limited to file a claim. So call 800-874-1654.
Any dental work I've ever had done as an adult, I've always seen Dr. Ty Parker. He's a friend of mine, and so I would always seek him out first. Even before he had his own practice, I knew that he was going to give me great care, partially because I knew him. But now when I see that he runs his practice that way for everybody, I love endorsing him. Dr. Ty Parker and Fountains Family Dentistry. I'm going to get a little personal here, but I've got very deep roots in my teeth. And so if I ever have to have work done or a tooth pulled, it's supposed to take a long time. So I always prepare to be in the dentist chair for a long, long time. Well, Dr. Ty Parker, he doesn't leave you there for a long time. He's able to get things done quickly because he knows exactly how his patients operate because he does all the prep work ahead of time. He's going to take x-rays. He's going to know how to get you in and out of his office fast. And that is so valuable. Time is of the essence for everybody. I understand. So give them a call. Go to Dr. Ty Parker, Fountains Family Dentistry. The website is fountainsfamilydentistry.com. They're in Fairview Heights, Illinois. fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
An accused quadruple killer appears in court. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. A not guilty plea entered for Brian Koberger, charged with first-degree murder in the deaths of 4 University of Idaho students last November.
Do you understand the maximum penalty? Yes.
Koberger giving short answers like that throughout the hearing as the judge set a trial date of October 2nd. The Republican presidential field continues to grow.
I'm announcing today that I'm running for president of the United States.
On a stage back in his hometown of North Charleston, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott discussed his story of growing up poor and struggling early in school to eventually rising to the United States Senate.
I'm living proof that America is the land of opportunity and not a land of oppression.
Scott was critical of President Biden and spoke on issues like inflation, the border, and crime.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz in Washington. More talking, but no deal yet in the debt limit and spending debate. White House and congressional negotiators wrapping up another meeting on Capitol Hill ahead of an Oval Office meeting later today.
We are now 10 days out from the potential default deadline, if you include today, which just yesterday, the Treasury Secretary said June 1st was a hard deadline. And Fitch Ratings and Moody's Investor Service have already signaled they could place the country's credit rating under review if we get too close to default.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. The president has suggested some Republicans would be willing to accept default in an effort to hurt him politically.
House Republicans, on the other hand, keep reiterating that they're the only ones that have so far passed a bill and say that it's Democrats and the White House to blame for lack of progress here.
President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy are scheduled to meet just over 3 hours from now. America is listening to Fox News.
Simply Safe was named Best Home Security of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors, indoor and outdoor HD cameras, and hazard detectors are powered by live 24/7 professional monitoring, so you get emergency help fast. Get 20% off any new system with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our high temperature this afternoon should top out at about 82 degrees. Plenty of sunshine out there. Tonight, clear skies dominate. 70s for evening plans. 55 for the low. Tuesday, partly to mostly sunny, 85. Let's keep it going. Wednesday, sunny, 85. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sunny and 80. No big storms in sight. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're as thankful to your first responders as we are, then nominate a local department and let us feed them a great meal. Compliments of Grill Master Tony Stone. Mark Cox here. Visit 971talk.com/contests. Help us feed our first responders. You can nominate someone today.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When children were being fatally injured by window blind cords, Honor Law took on the manufacturers to have dangerous cords banned.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9 million.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
CAJonesInc.com is the website you go to if you're looking for a home on the Illinois side of the river. Maybe you've checked out what there's out there on the market and you haven't found that house yet that you want to make yours. Well, they have really fantastic, a huge, large amount of inventory of new construction homes for sale on their website at CAJonesInc.com. They are building in all of the growing neighborhoods across the Metro East, and these homes are absolutely gorgeous. If you are looking to build and you want to customize every inch of that square house with your choice of countertops and your choice of flooring and everything, and you're not looking for something that's already built in new construction, then go online to CAJonesInc.com and you can see the many options of buildable plans with modern features at an affordable cost. Available right there for you at CAJonesInc.com. They improve lives through quality homes and community involvement. You might be next. Join me by visiting them online at CAJonesInc.com.
If you're a business owner, are you feeling the pressures of running your business? There's a limit to what you can do and still keep employees engaged. Insperity brings 30-plus years of HR experience to help you with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving your employees competitive benefit options. You're able to focus on other priorities. Your employees can thrive and your business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Full-service HR, employee benefits, HR technology. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Did you know St. Louis leads the nation in rounding up at our local McDonald's restaurants? That small change can make a big difference by supporting the building of a new local Ronald McDonald House. Please learn more at rmhcstl.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie
Well,
Frey
Harris,
Show.
that's premature to ask because we don't even know what they're talking about. We know that they're meeting. We know that the president wants to spend more money. He wants to continue deficit spending, and he doesn't want to bring the number down that you have to increase the debt ceiling, or that he's asking to increase the debt ceiling. So all of those pressures indicate that he's actually more intractable perhaps today than he was even a week or so ago. So we don't know what we're even talking about right now, Harris.
So Andy Biggs speaking with Harris Faulkner earlier this morning about the debt ceiling negotiations. And if you didn't get to hear Jason Chaffetz at 12:25, he articulated that he thinks that this is going to quietly get solved July 1st, July 2nd, right before the holiday weekend, when some compromising can happen and everybody's busy thinking about long weekends and vacations. So if Jason Chaffetz is right on what he said here on our show, this is probably going to go on for a while. So we can, chew your fingernails down to the stubs there, and you're going to have to do it over and over and over again. Hannah's a nail chewer. You're a nail biter.
That's my vice.
Yes, I tear my nails. I used to bite them. Now I tear them.
It's one thing that I really want to work on is not chewing my nails, but that's my vice.
Still room for improvement there.
Yes.
Andy Biggs continued talking about how these negotiations are taking place.
What you do is you have to bend the spending curve right now. And people forget this. We bring in about $400 billion a month in tax revenue, but we spend about $500 billion a month. Those are just rough numbers. Mm-hmm. So if you can bend your spending curve down so that you don't have to have a deficit spend of $100 billion a month, you actually might start getting so where if you do have to increase your debt limit, you can do it at a lower rate than otherwise. But right now, that's not what this administration wants to do. In fact, in some instances, they've talked about raising spending.
So when you listen to Andy Biggs saying, not only if we were to engage in a conversation where spending would start to come down, then if we do have to raise the debt ceiling, we won't have to raise it by as much. And so if we can work on having that conversation, maybe we end up raising the debt ceiling. But since we are going to rein the spending in, I don't know what your budget, Hannah, looks like in your house, but do you spend $500 billion and only take in $400 billion a month?
No, not exactly.
Ish.
Yeah.
What's a B billion here and there?
Right.
Here's more from Andy Biggs on the
Here's
issue.
a guy that would refuse to negotiate at all, Harris. And then when he refused to negotiate, so the House said, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and put a plan out there. We put a plan out, and he says he's still not going to negotiate. The House put a plan out about a month ago, and he refused to negotiate. Chuck Schumer should have taken it up, which is what you do with legislation. He should have taken it up, had his vote, amended it, done whatever he thought should be done, and then we'd be having a conference committee, and we'd be pretty well on our way. But that's not what's happened here. He has basically said, well, I'm going to use the 14th Amendment, which is bogus on its face. Then he said, we're going to spend more money. Then he said, we're going to spend less money. He doesn't even know what his position is.
Wow.
For him to say he's blameless is absolutely, utterly ridiculous.
So who's out here advocating for the American people? And if you are watching the House Republicans hold their ground, do you feel like this is what needs to happen? That somebody needs to say, no, we have to stop spending so much money. The president is very reluctant to sit down and have these conversations. And as we heard Andy Biggs say there, that the idea of spending less money, they want to spend even more money. President Biden was asked by a reporter.
Are Republicans negotiating in good faith?
This goes in stages. Mr. President, I've been in these negotiations before. It started off, shush up, okay? Thank you. It goes in stages. What happens is the first meetings weren't all that percussive. The second ones were. The third one was. And then what happens is the carriers go back to the principals and say, this is what we're thinking about. And then people put down new claims.
Shush up, okay? Ooh. I guess, I hope he didn't say that to a woman, because if he said that to a woman, we would have meltdown mode, right? Feminism everywhere. I'm trying to figure out what needs to happen in order to bring the feminists back out of the woodwork. Where are you? Oh, that's right. You're on the right side of the aisle. Nobody looks there for the feminists, but now that's where the feminists reside. The people who want to defend women and the rights that women should have and do have, should they choose to defend them. So, of course, we go to Mr. Ducey as he pushes on President Biden.
Mr. President, on the debt limit, you said already, I've done my part. Do you think that if there is a breach, nobody will blame you?
Of course, no one will blame me. I know you won't. You'll be saying Biden did a wonderful job. I know you.
Would you be blameless in a default situation?
On the merits, based on what I've offered, I would be blameless. On the politics of it, no one will be blameless. And by the way, that's one of the things that some are contemplating. I actually had, well, I got to be careful here. I think there are some MAGA Republicans in the House who know the damage that it would do to the economy. And because I am president and president's responsible for everything, Biden would take the blame. And that's the one way to make sure Biden's not reelected.
So you listen to what he's saying there, and he does understand that on the merits, he would be blameless. What does that matter in Washington, D.C. anymore? If you can't convince anybody of it, then it doesn't really matter. It's a real sad story of perception is reality. And if the merits of your negotiation is that you need to spend more money that you don't have, and it's the American people's money, not yours, Mr. Biden. And oh, by the way, we have questions about your money also. We'll set that aside for the time being. You have to understand that the way you are talking about these things in public and the way you're negotiating, are you leading? Are you even showing up for the meetings? I guess we sit by and we wait. Also, let's talk about the old man croak that he had in the middle there.
That scared me. I haven't heard that clip before, but when I heard those noises he was making,
I remember my grandpa, who passed away in 2004. And I think he was in his late 80s. He made those noises.
I was going to say, I've heard those noises before, and
it's an auditory thinking
yeah,
thing. It just kind of comes out.
Wow. Wow.
I wonder what the effect is. While I think here, let me croak. I wonder what the difference would be on young people who, is it worse? Does Joe Biden present himself worse just through audio, or if you add video to it, does it make it worse? Because I was thinking it would be worse if it were just audio, but I don't know if that's the case.
Really? I think audio for sure, but video, I mean, they're both horrible.
He sounds really old.
Really old, and just, it's concerning to me. Every time Joe Biden comes up to speak for anything, I'm cringing before it even starts because I feel bad for him, really. Like, it's really bad. I feel bad for him, and I always get anxious when he comes up to speak because I never know what he's going to say. I never know how he's going to present it, and I don't want him to mess up.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't get any satisfaction
He's your
seeing
president.
him fail. I want him to be able to speak clearly and really, communicate his thoughts, but he just can't, and I feel bad for him.
Do you know what the G7 is?
No.
Because I could talk about the G7 here, and there is a portion of this audience who's going to be like, "Oh yeah, the G7." But I also think there's a large portion of the audience who's going, "I've heard of the G7, but I don't really know what it is." A quick Wikipedia search: the Group of Seven is an intergovernmental political forum consisting of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the United Kingdom, along with the United States. Additionally, the European Union is a, quote, non-enumerated member. It is organized around shared values of pluralism, liberal democracy, and representative government. That is the definition of the G7. But when you hear countries like Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the UK, along with the United States, you think, all right, these are friendly nations. And when we get together with these countries, we should have a common interest, a common outcome, likely, that we want to meet and to reach. We put our heads together. I mean, love this stuff or hate this stuff. Here's President Biden at the G7
And there's a lot
summit.
of other, for example, the idea that we're, in terms of taxes, that they refuse to, for example, I was able to balance the budget and pass everything from the global warming bill. Anyway, I was able to cut by $1.7 billion in the first 2 years, the deficit that we were accumulating. And because I was able to say to it that the 55 corporations in America that made $400 billion, that they pay zero in tax, zero.
So, Hannah, what do you think about that? Good idea,
Sorry
bad
to
idea?
cut you off. What number was that? I was like 44, what?
So is he.
I don't know what he was saying.
So
I was listening truly, but I need a repeat of that or something.
I think he can sit down in a closed door meeting. I think he can be presented with information and facts, and he can put this information and facts. I believe that he's probably able to understand more of what's going on than he's able to regurgitate on a stage, but that's part of the deal. And I don't know that you can look at him and go, this is going to get better. It's only going to rapidly get worse. I truly feel bad for President Biden. I would not enjoy watching a family member of mine deteriorate on the world stage. And, I was thinking about this just the other day. When my son goes up to have an at bat in his baseball game, I just want him to do well. I want him to do well for him. I want him to do well for the team. I want him to do well because I'm sitting next to the parents who are hoping that their kids do well. And if my kid does well, it does well for the parents. That we're all shared in this collective thing, but I want him to do well. And of course, sometimes he does well and sometimes he doesn't do well. When my son fails at the plate, he strikes out or he doesn't reach first base or whatever it is, as his mother, there is a part of that I feel inside my soul Now, part of watching your child grow up is learning to let your kid fail so that they can learn from it and not try to pull out all the stops so that your child never understands failure, because then the world shows up in a really, really rip-roaring way and just really rains on the parade, unless you're going to sustain them their whole lives. And sorry, Charlie, that's not happening. But I look at my son, and I mean, this is the most insignificant thing ever. I always think about, you go to a sports complex, and the sports complex has 8 baseball games going on. That means there are 16 teams playing, and 16 teams with 10 kids plus per. That's 160 kids times 2 parents. If they've got at least 2 parents, there's 320 parents there that are worried about their kid. That makes me feel a little less significant on top of it all. And it makes me understand that it is good as his mother that I care this much about him. But it's a me thing, and I have to provide him the tools that he needs to reach for success. But he's of the age that if he doesn't reach for those tools to be successful, he's going to have to learn from failure and also from success. And if I feel that way when my son is up to hit in a 13U baseball game and I'm worried he's going to mess up, how are Joe Biden's family members watching him walk up to a podium or a stage and not having a medical episode of anxiety and worry that he's going to do something that's going to embarrass him, not the country, not in front of the world, that's going to embarrass him? How are these people who are supposed to be looking out for this man not coming undone? I don't understand it.
I don't either. It makes no sense to me. And I know you've brought this up a lot, but I just want to echo your thoughts about Jill Biden. What are you doing? How could you do that to your husband? Makes no sense.
I don't understand it. And I think that women look at Jill Biden and ask that question a lot. What are you doing? What do you love the most here? Because I have questions. Let's take a quick break. The YouTube live chat poll: grade the House GOP. They are so far keeping their footing pretty strong on the debt ceiling negotiations. They have, as we spoke with Jason Chaffetz in the 12 o'clock hour, passed something that would elevate the debt ceiling along with some spending cuts, and haven't been able to get anything done yet. But the Democrats haven't come to the table. They want to spend more. That's a problem. They've got the oversight into Joe Biden's connections to Hunter Biden's business dealings. They have a lot of questions. They're seeking answers. What do you think about the only power that Republicans have in federal government right now in that House? That's slim House majority. Grade them. Is it an A, a B/C, a D, or an F? Annie Frey YouTube channel in the live chat. We'll be back in a minute.
So you wanna play with magic? Boy, you should know.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So the Retirement Advisory Group, along with Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, are there to make sure that you can participate in their family business that benefits your family economic business. You're nearing retirement. The time has come where all of the saving that you have done so far, you've got to make sure that your mentality and your focus is clearly set where it needs to be, which is not just about saving and participating in the risk reward of the stock market. There is a shift that's going to have to take place. So you don't have to fret every time the market goes up, but like way down. You reach out to Thomas Helbig at the Retirement Advisor Group and set up a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You call them at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494 and say, I'd like to sit down and hear what you have to say. And then they're going to walk you through the whole thing. There's zero obligation. You get to make the decision yourself, as you absolutely should. And they're going to tell you how they can help you succeed. Plus, you're going to get a copy of the second edition of their book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Schedule your consultation today. 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Ophthalmology Associates. My eye health is super important to me for a variety of reasons. About 30 years ago, I had an eye disease, and I almost had a retinal detachment, had surgery, everything has been okay, but regular eye care has become important for me and has been for decades, and I only trust the best. And that's Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra at Ophthalmology Associates. They're here in St. Louis to take care of all of your vision needs. Maybe you have dry eye or your eyes itchy and scratchy. It might be more than just allergies. And Ophthalmology Associates is a leader in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. Let's talk LASIK. With modern LASIK procedures, more people can benefit, and LASIK can reduce or eliminate your need for contacts and glasses. Even if there's nothing going on in particular, annual eye health exams can prevent many kinds of eye and health problems, and they're typically covered by insurance. If you want excellent eye care, trust Ophthalmology Associates. It's a great office experience and staff. They're always on the leading edge of the latest technology. 12990 Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270, 314-966-5000, online at youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Missouri Congressman Jason Smith.
Over 5 million people have illegally crossed the southern border. Our state is just over 6 million.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Come with me now. Come with me now. Come with me now. I'm gonna take you down. Come with me now. I'm gonna show you how.
I was just talking in the last segment about stressing out about my kid when he's up to bat to hit or whatever. It's not just baseball. It's like anything your kid does. My kid plays piano. He goes to a recital, and I'm like, I don't know if this is everybody or if I'm a special kind of neurotic, but they're walking up to the piano and I'm like, why did I even sign him up for piano lessons? Why did I even do this? This could be so incredibly awful. If he makes a mistake in front of everybody, I'm going to feel so bad. I shouldn't have done this. And then he plays piano. It's great. And I'm like, why? I just need some medication. I'm watching on John Boy Media, which is if you like sports, it's a great Twitter follow. And the 12U USA team had a grand slam taken away after an appeal because the ump said the batter didn't touch the home plate. And there's a video here from the crowd showing the kid run around and he just steps right on home plate. They took it away. And I'm just thinking, like, I'm watching this and I'm thinking how tragic to have a grand slam taken away. A. B, it was the wrong call. And C, I'm like blacking out in my mind thinking about if that were my son and the official took it away and I knew that I had this video.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
You're going to write the obituary for the official is what you're going to do.
No, I am not. That's ridiculous.
She's going to write it. She's not going to do it.
I'm going to write
okay.
it. Annie's going to be in an orange jumpsuit.
No.
I kind of agree with you, Brad.
That's ridiculous.
Well, we would all agree with you, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's terrible, especially if there's video evidence that the guy was wrong.
ever, and 10 more evers go at an official as a parent. Never. I am an official.
Then what would you do?
I would lose my mind in the stands.
Okay.
But I would never, ever, Brad. No, I'm serious.
I know.
Because I have family members who are officials, and it actually is not funny because people do go at officials.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I actually told my husband, like, maybe he was a varsity level baseball official, but he would also take games because if you want to umpire baseball right now, you can work every day and you can do 4 games a day. And the lower the level of baseball that you do, the more psychotic the parents are and coaches.
Oh, yeah.
And consequently, kids. The
True.
kids are
Yeah,
little
they glean from it.
freaking punks when their coaches act that way and when the parents act that way. Why wouldn't they be? Who's setting them an example of what not to be?
Real talk, real question.
Mhm.
What is the statute of limitations on a bad call like that? Let's say you're in the stands and you can show the ump within a minute. Look, I've got a video of the guy stepping on the plate.
Absolutely not, because then all the parents are going to be back there with their phones and they're all going to be pleading with the official. At some point, the officials either call the game or they don't. And the question is what kind of umpire has the cojones to take away a grand slam when he isn't a bazillion% sure that the foot didn't touch home
No
plate?
kidding.
Well, that's why in baseball or any major sport, the ruling on the field is either confirmed, overturned, or it stands as called. If you don't have irrefutable evidence, you can't change the previous call. You just can't do it. So like Annie was saying, I don't understand why he changed the call, because he obviously didn't have irrefutable evidence to show that it was over, that the kid missed it. I've seen the video. It's it's unreal.
That's 12 views. So that's 1 year younger than my son's playing right now. I just can't imagine having to tell that kid, oh, I'm sorry you didn't touch home plate. You know how bad he's going to feel?
Especially since he
At
did.
12?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, these kids, they put the weight of the game on their shoulder, especially if you're competing at a high level like this. I mean, that is a learning opportunity for that kid. But no, just to reiterate, don't ever go after the official, and I never would. But I would have to exit stage right before I lost my mind. Yeah, there's a still shot of him touching the plate. It's ridiculous. We talked to Jason Chaffetz earlier in the show, and we talked to him a lot about Tim Scott. Tim Scott announced his run for the presidency today. And if you didn't have a chance to listen to his speech, regardless of you, if you are somebody who is a Republican voter, if you're somebody who is up for grabs in the Republican primary, if you're somebody who's Donald Trump or die, you still should listen to what Tim Scott has to say. Listen to the passion in this
Joe
guy's
Biden
voice.
and the radical left are attacking every single rung of the ladder that helped me climb. And that's why I'm announcing today that I'm running for president of the United States of America.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go for him right now just because of that enthusiasm. It sounds to me very Howard Dean-like, but Howard Dean seemed more off his rocker, and maybe that's just because he's a Democrat to me.
Well, Howard Dean's comments followed like a rant, and it was like he just lost whatever state that was, and he's like, but then we're going to go to this one, and then we're going to go to that one, and it was just
He's pumping up the crowd.
This one right here, I don't know. To me, it seems like he's like, finally, like he said, from the cotton fields to Congress, finally, I'm running for president. And that's pure joy coming from him. He's not, it's not just showmanship.
I'm living proof that God and a good family and the United States of America can do all things if we believe. Will you believe it with me? Will you join the team the greatest nation on God's green earth. I love it. Let me close with this. May the Lord bless us for another 1,000 generations. May He be gracious towards us. I believe the next American century starts today.
It makes me happy. I mean, kind of want to listen to that when I wake up in the morning. Like I want to change the ringer on my phone when it goes off to wake me up in the morning and be like, it starts today. And I'm like, got to go to work. Thanks, Senator Scott. You motivated me.
Got to tell you, the first clip, I did think a little bit about Howard Dean. Second clip at the end, when he goes, today, I'm like, what did you just do to me? I think you just got me a little excited that I wasn't expecting at the end there. The first one was, I'm not doing tingle up my leg. I'm just saying.
Now you are.
now
you've clarified. For a while, we were all just thinking what we were thinking.
Now everybody's thinking it.
We're trying to stop
That's
thinking
all right.
about it.
That's all right. He surprised me at the end is what
When
I'm
I
saying.
cut your taxes, they called me a prop. When I refunded the police, they called me a token. When I pushed back on President Biden, they even called me the N-word. I disrupt their narrative. I threaten their control. The truth of my life disrupts their lies.
Every time I hear that clip in the background, he says, they call me the N-word. And this woman in the back goes, what? And I'm like, that's right. That's the proper reaction. Well, I know everybody's wondering, but what did Whoopi Goldberg have to say about this? The View co-host suggested that Republican Senator Tim Scott had Clarence Thomas syndrome while discussing the launch of his 2024 presidential campaign. Quote, one of the issues that Tim Scott has is that he seems to think, because I made it, everyone can make it, ignoring, again, the fact that he's the exception and not the rule. And until he's the rule, then he can stop talking about systemic racism. That was from Sunny Hostin. Goldberg said he had Clarence Thomas syndrome. Alyssa Farah Griffin noted Scott had, quote, championed policies specific to help the Black and brown community. That's a minor detail. Sunny Hostin went on to say he's talking about victimhood and personal responsibility as if people aren't taking responsibility for their own actions. It seems to me that the Republican Party has a real racism problem. That just rings my bell. Those aren't my words. Those are the words of Michael Steele in 2018, another Black Republican, then Republican. He was asked the chairperson, the first Black person to hold that position. He said, there's a real problem with racism within the Republican Party. He should know. And so it seems to me that, at this point, Tim Scott is only polling at 1.8%. These people are big mad that a successful Black man who has gone from the position of a family that actually was prevalent in cotton fields is now in a position not only to be a United States senator, but to run for the presidency of the United States and poll at 1.8%.
Yeah, I don't get the message here. It sounds like the message is, yes, you're successful, but you shouldn't talk about it or try to inspire anybody to get out of the situation that they're in. Which, by the way, is Whoopi Goldberg's story too. So I don't know why she would discount her own story and Tim Scott's and any other person who's been successful to say, don't look to those people. It's like they're saying you should stay mad and stay a victim as long as you possibly can. Don't try to achieve things.
It's really something else. And watching people get really bent out of shape about this makes me feel like Tim Scott has a message that is going to cut through in ways that they don't want that message to cut through. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more Annie Frey Show right around the corner. We'll talk about the YouTube live chat poll here in the room. Grade the House GOP. What do you think about how the House Republicans and that slim majority are doing? We'll be back in just a minute.
Come with me now.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
MySlim180.com is the website. If you're looking to lose weight, go with Slim180. Now, I am currently taking the semaglutide that everybody is talking about. Lots of people are taking it. Semaglutide is also a prescription that is out there in a bunch of names that are a little more well-known and advertised, I'll say. So it's semaglutide, but it's under a different name. You can get that at Slim180. I'm taking it, and since we have been back from Disney, I'm down, I think it's around 8-something pounds, which is like a week. That's pretty crazy. I'm following the plan. I'm doing what they're telling me at Slim180. I have amazing, delicious snacks. I just went and picked some up today and met with Trish and got to see her. And I mean, honestly, this has been the easiest weight loss I've ever had. And I've done several different diets at Slim180 and been successful with all of them. It's been a great way for me to lose weight after having a baby, to get back in shape. That post-COVID weight that everybody's carrying around, you don't have to do that. Get healthy again and do it with Slim180. It's an affordable way to lose weight and to do it successfully. You can find all the details you need online and mention the Annie Frey Show when you call them and you inquire about it, because you're going to save money by mentioning my name. Go to myslim180.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no obligation consultation today.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. May is National Bike Month, so use your bike instead of your car or for a little bit of exercise. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Wake up, people. You're optimizing every waking hour of your life, from carpooling kids to work to friends and everything in between. You have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep, so you learn to sleep better, night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number. Save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed, plus special financing. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. See store for details.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
What grade would you give the House GOP? You can vote on the Annie Frey Show YouTube live chat poll. The current time is 1:43. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Critical thinking in critical times. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Everyone is welcome. listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Another day, another night. I long to hold you tight, 'cause I'm so lonely. Baby, I need your loving.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. The YouTube live chat poll. Let's just go around the room real quick. Here we can give some reasons why, if you so choose. Grade the House GOP. This is what you can vote on. If you go to Annie Frey on YouTube, Frey, you'll see that our live video is broadcasting right now. Come join us and say hi, especially if you've never seen the live broadcast before. A lot of people always kind of get a kick out of watching the radio show for a minute or two. Just check it out. Subscribe to the channel while you're there. In the live chat portion of the live broadcast, you'll see this poll. Grade the House GOP. Do you give them an A, B/C, a D, or an F? Ryan, what are you giving them?
Up to this point, I give them an A based on the criteria. I don't know what they could have done better. They seem like they have really done about as good as I could have expected. However, the big test is happening right now. We're right in the middle of it. So
you're giving them an A, but you're prepared to give additional grades in the grade book
based on
for future
right
tests.
now. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brad, what about you?
Well, for me, an A would be like basically imposing their will upon the Biden administration, which they really can't do. So
That's what you want them to do?
Yeah, but I don't know that that's a realistic
I was
A.
going to say, if they can't do it.
So that's not a realistic A. So I give them a B or a C because what they're doing is they're doing exactly everything that they can do in this instance. They're kicking over rocks in investigations, and they're revealing a lot of, really bad things coming from the FBI in that what is it? The Select Committee on Government Weaponization of the Federal Government. They're finding a lot of information and they're bringing it to the forefront. And I can tell that they're finding a lot of information, bringing it to the forefront because not only the news media isn't ignoring it, they're coming up with excuses for it and they're attacking the whistleblowers. So I think that they're doing a great job in that. I think that they're doing a good job in holding on with this budget ceiling, the debt ceiling fight. Kevin McCarthy seems to have pulled his party really well together. I mean, he's doing an excellent job thus far, keeping them together, getting them voting together. So much so that, again, he's being attacked like he's beholden to the extreme right wing of his party. It's like he's doing what he needs to do to hold this party together. So I think, yeah, B or C, probably a B.
I would.
Wait a second, though. That's the kind of college professor I wouldn't want, though.
I agree.
Didn't he just...
He said what I said in greater detail.
Yeah.
And much more eloquently, in fact, and yet still gave him a B and I gave him an A. And I think
my standards are higher.
But you prefaced it with an A is unattainable. Like you just said that from the beginning.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be that way as a college professor.
Well, you are right now.
Red herring. Is there anything they could do right now that they're not doing that you wish that they were doing?
I can't come up with anything offhand.
Then an A.
But no A.
But I'm not giving them an A.
It's good.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you hope at the end of or at least mid-semester, there's a curve involved. What do you think, Hannah?
I would give them either a B or a C. They're just kind of, for lack of better terms, run of the mill right now. Nothing is sticking out to me amazingly that they need an A, but they're also not failing. So I would say right down the middle, B or C for my GOP grade.
I am going to refer you back to the Jason Chaffetz interview that we had at 12:25. You can rewind to that on the Odyssey app or check it out on the Annie Frey Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. And I completely agree with him. These Republicans are doing a fantastic job. I'd give them an A+ at this point in time. There is nothing that they're going to put through that's going to be legislation that you and I as conservatives think that's what we've been waiting for this whole time. In fact, the closer it gets to that, the more DOA that it is in the Senate or on the president's desk. So you have to ask yourself, what can they possibly do to succeed? They are digging, they are subpoenaing, they are calling out the people who are causing a lot of the questions that people have regarding how fair and balanced and equitable and how dedicated to justice are these unelected bureaucrats who are running the back end of this government. We're going to call them out and we're going to subpoena them. Jason Chaffetz said, when you subpoena the Department of Justice and they're like, no, we don't want to answer to that subpoena. And then you send in the Department of Justice to make them comply, that's a losing battle. It doesn't mean you don't do it. And watching the way James Comer, in my opinion, revealed the facts of why they continue to have questions. And the questions that the American people should be asking, these are the things that I heard folks just like you listening to the show right now saying before the midterm election. We elect these people and then they don't do what they say they're going to do. They're not going to investigate anything. They're doing it. And they're pressuring the Democrats from their small but significant majority in the House. They are making the biggest stink there that they possibly can. And I say, you get an A. But also, we'll ask this question again soon.
Well, because of everything happening right now. And I want to add that I think that in years past, when debt ceiling budget negotiations were happening, it was full court press from the media and Democrats to pressure Republicans into folding. That's, of course, still trying to happen now. And I don't know if you can attribute this to McCarthy and the message, but I don't feel like it's succeeding as much right now as it has in the past. Maybe times are different. Maybe it's not McCarthy, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
The other thing that's really interesting about the makeup of the House, especially the House Republicans right now, goes all the way back to the very beginning in the pursuit to pick a speaker. The Republicans in the House are dynamic. And if you think that you're going to have a House Speaker who is going to be from the end of a wing in the Republican Party, that's not the way that works. You have to be able to get a majority of people, and you've got to get those purple Republicans that might come out of the state of, Illinois. You managed to get a Republican elected to Congress in the state of Illinois. And a lot of people used to criticize Rodney Davis for this. He was my congressman, and he was a wonderful congressman. And I was glad he was there. And I wish that we had a Rodney Davis instead of a Nikki Budzinski in the Illinois 13 right now, because I will take more of Rodney Davis's votes than I'm going to take of Nikki Budzinski's votes. But you have to be able to get somebody as a speaker and as a majority whip and the person who's leading that party to bring all of those corners together. That's just the way politics are. But the faction of Republicans in the House right now that are the Freedom Caucus Republicans, which Kevin McCarthy was one of them, these people have a lot of sway, and they have impressed upon the business of the Republicans in the House to the point where they have to be considered with each and every decision that's taking place, which to me shows a stronger Republican Party.
Yeah, and I'm seeing McCarthy, and this is why I kind of do attribute this to McCarthy, even though it's like, well, there's probably other factors too. I'm seeing him do a lot of media, much more than I'm used to seeing a House leader do in these times. And it's because I think he recognizes that that's the key to the whole thing, is that you got to win the public narrative, and they always lose in these things, and he's trying to win.
The Republicans are talking to the American people.
Yes.
The Democrats aren't. And the Democrats don't, again, they only want you to feel. They don't want you to think. And that's why you can listen to Joe Biden clap back at a reporter and tell him to shush up. If Donald Trump told someone to shush up, there would be shush up t-shirts on angry feminists all over the place, and you wouldn't be able to escape them. Just like nasty woman and those weird hats.
Nevertheless, she persisted.
Yes. Resisted.
I think it was persisted because it was Mitch. It wasn't Trump.
Elizabeth Warren was.
That's what it was talking about.
Persisted, and then there was a separate resist.
Ah, yes.
And then there's the Al Franken sound clip where he's just rambling, and he says, "Resist, we munch."
I don't remember that.
As the digital brand manager of the station for a previous show in the station, I created a "Resist, we munch" t-shirt. It was a black t-shirt with all white letters, and it had the fist up in the air, and it just said in big white letters, "Resist," and on the bottom, "We munch." But the hand that was held up like a fist had a fork in it.
Anybody who's wearing that and somebody goes, "Oh, I catch you," that is an exclusive club.
There are like 4 shirts that exist. I have one of them, and I'm like, I'm not ever wearing this in public. I have so many t-shirts that I will never, ever wear in public. It looks just like a big resist shirt.
Right.
But it's not. Al Franken.
Speaking of t-shirts, by the way.
Not Al Franken.
Yeah.
Al Sharpton.
Oh, Al Sharpton.
Yes. Wrong Al.
That changes things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
Munch. I gotta see if I have.
Well, he's got a lot of those phrases.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Like at Aretha's funeral.
Yes.
RESPICT.
Yes.
No, that's not it.
I've heard that clip 1,000 times. I didn't know that was at Aretha Franklin's funeral.
The worst possible place.
That's terrible.
That you could do that. Yes. He misspelled the word that she spelled in her song.
That's what she's famous for, is spelling and singing that
It
word.
is disrespectful to Aretha.
Yeah.
Hannah couldn't even get it out.
Nope.
She started laughing before the sentence was over.
When you have Al Sharpton speaking at Aretha's funeral, don't you know something might happen?
Oh, yeah. I want Al Sharpton to speak at my funeral.
We can arrange that.
Yeah, I guess it'd have to be pretty soon. That's the one unfortunate thing about it.
I'm looking through all of my clips of Al Sharpton here. Here's Al Sharpton to Tim Scott. Let's listen to that. It's timely. May 4th, 2021.
Now, everybody in America is not racist, but are you talking about whether the practice of America is racist or the people? Because the practice of America was built on racism. It was against the law for us to read and write. It was against the law for us to marry. It was against the law for us to name our children after us. We were brought here to serve and never get paid. That's how the country was built.
That was what Al Sharpton was explaining to Tim Scott.
Whoa, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh.
In 2021.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a timely clip.
Does it matter that these Democrats vocally truly have the mentality of, if you're black, you're a Democrat. If you're black and not a Democrat, you ain't black. Their words, not mine, because I am not stupid.
That just, I mean, just to me as a person, I'm very much like this, but I would just rebel against anything like that. And that kind of stuff, I would have to think there's a segment of the population that hears it and just goes, I don't care what you're trying to box me into. I just don't want to be boxed in. Got it? Whatever it is, just don't do it.
Resist, we munch.
I want to hear that clip.
I want to hear Al Sharpton say it. Al Franken say it. Yeah, I know I got that clip somewhere. I'm going to find it. When we come back, we're going to find out what New York City Mayor Eric Adams is doing to crack down on shoplifting in New York City. He's got big plans, and we're going to figure out if we think they'll work. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
Men, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pills or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now, and your initial consultation and first treatment with our physicians are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan, only at Stewart's American Mortgage. He calls it the bagel loan because a bagel looks like a zero. And that reminds you that when you use the bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage, you're going to pay zero in fees that other lenders out there are going to charge you for. This can save you thousands of dollars on your mortgage. If you're purchasing a home, you got to call Stewie or text Stewie today and say, how can the bagel loan help me? Can you hook me up? 314-324-4440. Call or text 314-324-4440 and get the process started today. Once you get going down this lane of working with Stewie and getting the bagel loan, he can close in 12 days. Talk about being a super competitive buyer. That might actually save you dollars on the offer that you have to make. And if you're saving those thousands anyway, put that on the offer. Get the house you want to make your dream home with the bagel loan. 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan as well. NMLS number 226715.
The air conditioning season coming upon us, and it's $89 to have us come out and make sure the best we can that you're set for summer. I cannot predict how long your furnace or air conditioner will last. If I could, I would be making this commercial from the Caribbean and I would have billions of dollars. So I can't do that. But what I can do is we can make sure your system is clean, your filters changed. It's in the best working order. If there's a part that might be failing, we can let you know that and give you a price on that. We will not come in at $89 and try to sell you a brand new system. I do promise you that. So call me. It's really one easy number, and it is one number just for Missouri and Illinois. There's only one Bart Inman, and that is the number 314-293-2600. Again, Bart Inman, Bart with a B, Inman with an I, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hope in Washington. Lisa Brady, Fox News. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy just telling reporters on Capitol Hill it's possible to reach a debt ceiling deal as early as tonight or tomorrow. This just a few hours before he meets with President Biden in the Oval Office.
This week is make or break time for these debt ceiling talks, as Secretary Janet Yellen reminded everybody on the Sunday shows yesterday. President Biden and the House Speaker spoke yesterday via phone. The Speaker actually seemed more optimistic coming out of that engagement than he had seemed in some days.
Fox's Jillian Turner. McCarthy telling reporters earlier today that Democrats are addicted to spending. He says now that he believes the package being negotiated would be acceptable to a majority of House Republicans. The presidential race has a new runner.
We are not defined by the color of our skin. We are defined by the content of our character. And if anyone tells you anything different, they're lying.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott joining a Republican field that could grow again soon, with Florida's governor expected to file paperwork this week. A bill banning abortions at 12 weeks is signed into law in Nebraska, along with new restrictions on gender-affirming care for minors, which in Nebraska is anyone under age 19. Opponents plan to sue. A not guilty plea entered in Idaho for Brian Koberger, the man accused of killing 4 college students in an off-campus house.
Koberger's attorney asked for a 6-week trial beginning in October, and no sides objected to that date. Koberger was arraigned on 4 charges of murder in the first degree, accused of stabbing to death those 4 University of Idaho students last November.
Fox's Matt Finn in Moscow, Idaho. No decision yet from prosecutors on seeking the death penalty. Police in Portugal just announcing they'll resume the search for missing British toddler Madeleine McCann. This after Germany identified a potential suspect in her 2007 disappearance. America is listening to Fox News.
At Simply Safe, we know during a break-in, every second counts. So our home security system is powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who use Fast Protect technology, only from Simply Safe, to capture video evidence and verify a threat for fast police response. Now, install Simply Safe your way. Do it yourself or have an expert set it up for you with new Pro Install. Get 20% off any new system with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our high temperature this afternoon should top out at about 82 degrees. Plenty of sunshine out there. Tonight, clear skies dominate. 70s for evening plans. 55 for the low. Tuesday, partly to mostly sunny, 85. Let's keep it going. Wednesday, sunny, 85. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sunny and 80. No big storms in sight. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks?
What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Go to igotfloor.com and you will quickly see why Michael's Flooring Outlet is such a successful St. Louis owned and operated business for 30 years in this town, helping families just like yours spruce up their flooring situation in their residence, but also commercially. If you go to igotfloored.com, you can request an estimate right there at the top of the webpage. You can reach out to a sales service person who's going to walk you through the process of getting great quality and great value in your flooring purchase. They have all the products that you've been looking for, be it glass tile, natural stone, including vinyl and luxury vinyl, tile, laminate, hardwood, waterproof flooring options as well, and that carpet tile or that carpet. That Mohawk Smart Strand line is a beautiful luxury piece that you can put in your home. And that carpet tile, if you're doing a commercial flooring replacement, can give you the carpet look and comfortable feel, but the really great ease of replacing in case commercially something happens in your business and you just need to replace that one spot. If you're looking for flooring, shop local, shop with Michael's Flooring Outlet. Go online to igotfloored.com.
Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join our growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. That's progressive.com/careers.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. May is National Bike Month, so use your bike instead of your car or for a little bit of exercise. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Conservative solutions, objective conclusions. For news and opinion, this is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
But resist we much.
Okay. Al Sharpton there, and it just is the gift that keeps on giving. There are a lot of innovative ways in this country right now. In the wake of the anti-police movement that has taken place, there's all of these restorative justice measures that are trying to be implemented, and they don't really seem. Are there any success stories? Have we come across any like wild success stories in not putting criminals in jail?
Silence says no.
I was gonna say, chirp chirp.
Yeah.
No,
I can't think of anything.
I can't come up.
Just giving us the opportunity. Okay.
And the thing is, if there were success stories, they would be shouted from media rooftops.
Yeah. So not so much.
Well, from mainstream media, they would love it.
Restorative justice, has it been detrimental anywhere?
Yes. Everywhere.
You are here.
It has been implemented because it has been so haphazardly implemented.
I think it's true that you could implement restorative justice things into a system that still respects law and order, the people who put their lives in the line to enforce the laws that exist on the books from the legislators that we elect. I think you could still have an effort to work people into a system, especially if they come, not especially. I don't know why you would pick and choose one person over the other. If there is an element of somebody that looks like, hey, that person, we can help that person. Is it true that there are people who can't be helped?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would never say you should absolutely give up on people, but in terms of like broad policy, yeah, there are some people you're just not going to reach.
I mean, if you're somebody who has committed violent crime and taken away the rights of security that humans should have by virtue of being an alive human, if you're going to take away that security from someone, I don't understand any sort of, let's talk about this person's background in letting them off the hook or saying that somehow or another we're going to put them in a program instead of in a prison cell. If there is a violent act that is taking place here, to me, that is a whole separate entity. And if you look at the dockets of St. Louis, and if you've paid attention to why Kim Gardner is toast in St. Louis, it's unbelievable what the conviction rate is for murder in the city. It's shocking. And you know what? It's not just St. Louis. In fact, St. Louis might not even be that big of a deal, comparatively speaking, to places like Chicago or New York City. Now, if you do the crime, you should do the time mentality. If it's just theft, are we interested in restorative justice for theft? Are people who are stealing things, because this is what you hear, but the people who are stealing toothpaste and toothbrush, like you will hear people in New York City say they need these
It's like Aladdin.
Yeah,
it's just bread.
One jump ahead of the bread line.
It's just little Aladdin. Give him a break.
Isn't that a racist movie?
Maybe now. Who knows? I'm sure it is. Everything's racist.
Isn't
so
it
I'm
problematic?
Sure it is. I'm sure it is. They should put a warning at the beginning.
What's problematic? The dumb Will Smith remake of that video.
Apparently. Never saw it. It looked terrible.
I paid money to see it. I'm still mad about it. I think it was the first movie. I've told the story on the air before, but I think it was the first movie we went into the theater to watch after COVID.
And you were so excited.
We're like, let's go to the theater. Let's watch Aladdin. I'm like, I'm rather be locked in my home. I want my money back. Makes me so mad. I hate all of the remakes. There's a crackdown on shoplifting in New York City. And the New York City mayor, Eric Adams, he's got a plan. And he's going to combat this skyrocketing retail theft problem that they have. You guys ready for this?
I'm ready. I like this guy more and more lately. So I want to see what you're talking about here.
Good. I'm glad you do. Point number 1, give first-time offenders intervention programs instead of prosecution.
Oh.
What is it? What?
Why can't you be prosecuted for a crime and have your record reflect your actions, but then maybe the consequences reflect your first-time offense?
Also
so you're
fine.
Just gonna go ahead your first time around.
Well,
you get one.
That's kind of weird to me though. How is it you just get one, but it doesn't go on your record? So how do they know it's your first offense if it doesn't go on your record?
It's always your first one.
Yeah.
All right. Who in here has worked retail before? Anybody?
Yo.
What'd you do?
Gas station attendant. I've worked at mainly a gas station, several different gas stations.
Ryan?
Nope.
Hannah?
No.
For the retail employees, this is crackdown on shoplifting plans for NYC. They want to provide de-escalation training for retail employees.
Oh, come on. I mean, fine, but if that's the only line of defense, then what do you think is going to happen?
Okay. Number 3. Thanks for the feedback, guys.
Yeah.
Establish neighborhood retail watch groups to share theft info in real time with one another and NYPD. That's like a footnote. Someone was like, put NYPD on the end of that note there. Just add it towards the end.
So,
establish it. They have a neighborhood watch for retail theft groups. What are these people going to do? Like Mr. Penny on the subway system who felt like his life was threatened and the people who are riding the subway system. I think you need to get the neighborhood out of this and just put bullet number 1, NYPD. That's my plan.
What is Neighborhood Watch supposed to do?
Well, they're supposed to call the NYPD, who then arrests the suspect, and then they take him to intervention training because it's their first offense, and then they don't prosecute him.
No, this says establish neighborhood retail watch groups to share theft info in real time with one another.
So just
and NYPD.
Hey, I'm getting robbed right now. LOL. You too? Like, what?
Neighborhood retail
watch groups.
So, so
the
it's
neighborhood
not like
is
knowing,
watching it. It's always happening in front of the neighborhood.
So this isn't even like your neighbors. This is Kohl's talking to Walmart
to share theft info in real time with one another.
Like my
and
message
NYPD.
if you got mugged today.
And they need the government of New York City to step in and help them do this?
No, they don't want to step in at all. They just want the people to have to talk about it.
like it's a law that you have to talk to each other now?
It's a 4-point plan. They saved the best for last.
Oh boy.
So this is the 4th one.
This is it.
Okay.
The first 3 are like, oh man, I don't know if this is going to do the trick. But they have a 4th.
This is going to be a home run, I guarantee it.
Install kiosks in stores to connect would-be thieves with social service programs.
Wait,
what?
It's the thief. There's going to be a line of thieves at the social service program kiosk in Walgreens. What is happening?
Wait, can you just read that as is again?
Install kiosks in stores to connect would-be thieves with social service programs.
So if I'm a thief and I'm like, man, I'm really jonesing for a fix. I don't know where to turn.
But there's that kiosk.
I don't know. Thank God for the kiosk.
Look at the neighborhood watch. They're all around us right now.
Talking to one another.
You walk around a corner and you go, oh, there it is. Like it's glowing in the distance. You go, oh, thank God, the kiosk.
So you have a social service program kiosk up there. And then you get in line and everyone's like, another thief.
Just lined up in their ski mask with their little bags over their shoulders.
I like it's would-be thieves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they're going to change them right there.
They're self-reporting.
Like Benny Hinn stuff. Be healed. Go to the kiosk. Oh, thank you, sir. My life was on the wrong track until I saw this social service program kiosk.
I really thought you meant Benny Hill.
Whatever. Why don't we have a kiosk that has a job application for the store that they want to steal from so they can make money and buy the stuff that they're stealing from these places?
I really considered making handouts that anytime I see somebody asking for money on the side of the road, I would just say, there is a place hiring right behind you.
You did a video about that.
I know, but I never actually handed out the little cards.
Don't do that downtown.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could dive right there.
Well, but if there was only more government intervention for somebody like them, to get, maybe they need a kiosk.
I think you should I think we should do a video on this. I need you to dress up as the kiosk.
So I'm the kiosk.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to lay in a circle.
And Hannah can help people find the kiosk.
My best friend just texted me and said that this sounds like a SNL skit and not an actual plan.
Yeah.
From Eric Adams.
It's a joke.
Yeah. You know why it sounds like an SNL skit? Because it's not funny.
It's terrible. It's tragic. If you think about if you're living in this neighborhood, and we work here in St. Louis every day, and we know that there is an inherent risk of coming downtown. Like, that's a real thing. Would you agree?
Tell me the first 3 again, just real quick.
What's the first 3?
The first 3, and then because the 4th one we really got hung up on.
You can't produce this in your head for the rest of the show.
Okay.
I need 42 more minutes of your time.
Okay.
But I will read them again for you right now. Give first-time offenders intervention programs instead of prosecution.
Okay, so they're not prosecuting the crime.
A warning.
Right. Don't do that again.
De-escalation training for retail employees.
Okay, so it's fallen on the Kohl's guy.
Which I will tell you that if you're somebody who, at least, I don't know, 10 years ago at Walgreens, if you were experiencing someone who was stealing things, you're just supposed to let them go. You're not even supposed to, you're not even supposed to address them barely.
So I wonder now if they're saying de-escalation means you approach the person. You still don't do anything.
That's a terrible idea.
You just tell them to walk up to them and
What
go,
is-
I understand you might be stealing. I have a kiosk right over here.
Yeah. what is the hazard pay for trying to, you're at Walgreens and you're just trying to make it through school, and now you've got to learn de-escalation for thieves who are willing to steal whatever they want from Walgreens so that they can sell it on the street so that they can get their next hit. I mean, like the standards and life perspectives here are, I mean, I'm not even a joke, but that man who pooped on that tree out there.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's hard to forget. That's a different lifestyle. In his world, that's just something that happens and exists. We don't live that life. There are people who are just living with different expectations for themselves and for the society around them. And if you're somebody who is going to take your perspective as a CVS cashier who is watching someone take an armful of whatever they can get. I mean, in New York City, everything is locked up in the store anyway these days. They probably have to get some sort of associate to unlock this stuff to provide it to them. And then they're going to walk out the store. They're just going to walk out the store. You're not going to de-escalate anything, but you might tick them off. And if you tick them off and they're mad and they have no standard for right and wrong anyway, are they going to put that down and walk out the store? Are they going to go to an kiosk? God, I can't say the words I want to say. Establish neighborhood retail watch groups to share theft info in real time with one another.
That's number 3.
And NYPD.
Uh-huh.
Install. I think that was the Eric Adams addition to this. As a former police officer,
notify the police.
Where's the NYPD in this one? You got to put it on there. Add it to the end of number 3. Install kiosks in stores to connect would-be thieves with social service.
So
programs.
just to be clear, it used to be that you could steal up to $900 and you get away with it. Now you also get a first offense is free, so you can steal really as much as you want.
And a social program that's going to provide you all the things that you probably could just steal and not have to sit through a program to learn.
But after that one, though, if you know, oh man, prosecution's going to come next time, well, I'll go into the store and if somebody tries to de-escalate me, they'll just send me to a kiosk.
Put a tent on this circus. It's out of control. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
PreventSprainsocks.com. Have you visited their website yet? Have you learned about them more than what I've talked to you about them? Because these socks are fantastic. My daughter wore them in her volleyball games this weekend. She doesn't play volleyball without them. They give her the support she needs around her ankle to prevent those sprained ankles that are going to put her out of commission for a while. And we don't want that. As a grown person who is generally doing any athletic activities to stay in shape and to try to stay active and to try to stay healthy, I certainly can't have my ankle roll, especially my left ankle, which is my weak ankle because of a really bad sprain in high school. Do you have one of those? It turns into a bad knee and maybe eventually a bad hip. Get these socks to make sure that you can stay active and stay healthy. There are athletes that are wearing these, NFL players, professional soccer players, European football players, college athletes, high school athletes, myself, radio show hosts included. PreventSprainsocks.com is the website. They increase blood flow, which in turn lessens muscle and ankle fatigue. And they report that 50% less recovery time is needed for your active ankles. You can find them online at PreventSprainsocks.com.
Cardinals baseball is in full swing.
Right center field, a grand slam for Nolan Gorman.
With the free Odyssey app, local fans can listen live all summer long, whether you're at the grill or at the pool.
And it's a goner! An opposite field home run for Wilson Contreras.
Cardinals baseball. Cardinals announcers. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
Wake up, people. You're optimizing every waking hour of your life, from carpooling kids to work to friends and everything in between. You have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep, so you learn to sleep better, night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number. Save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed, plus special financing. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. See store for details.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
If you like to work with a local company that gives back to the community, Window World is the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Mark Cox here for my friends out at Window World. What a great product. A lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You've heard me say that before. And they've been around for over 20 years. They have improved the look and the efficiency of over 70,000 homes in the greater St. Louis area. They had the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. That's hard to get, right? And that's important. They're ranked #1 in the number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Call them for a free estimate. Let them show you why they say simply the best for less. New doors, new windows. With Window World, they're now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Or you can go online anytime to windowworld.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Underlaw, we're looking for brave clients who have been injured and are ready to stand beside us in our fight to improve the safety of our community.
Call Underlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-900,000.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. When planning your summer vacation, pick a destination close to where you live to limit your use of fuel. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
You don't have to punch it in. You can just say it. Play 97.1 FM Talk. Available on your smart speaker any time of day. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future.
Did you see the story about a high school track runner?
I saw the headline.
Trans female. So born biologically male, transgender to female, which is the way these always go in these sports stories. And I always love when we talk about these stories because they continue to come up and then they're like, how often is this really even happening? If it happens once, it's enough for me. And it's definitely happening more and more to the point that if you didn't say something now, in a year, if it's happening exponentially more and so on and so forth, you'd be like, well, why wasn't this a problem when there are only a few? Why is it just a problem now? TheCollegeFix.com, Fox News has a story on it as well. At a California high school track and field qualifier meet on Friday, an 11th grade trans female runner ended up preventing a biological female finisher from going to the state championship. According to a Twitter post by the Independent Council of Women's Sports, Athena Ryan's second place finish in the 1,600 meter run displaced Adeline Johnson, who finished fourth. Video of the award ceremony shows a visibly upset Johnson, who prior to taking her place on the podium gives a thumbs down gesture. Nicer than some gestures she could have given. Meanwhile, pro-women in sports protesters were holding signs and banners reading "Protect Female Sports." They were asked to leave the stadium area. So this runner is a biological male, trans female, is competing in girls' sports. The top three qualify to go to state. And this trans female got second. I want to meet
number one.
Number one. She got second. And interesting anecdote at the bottom of the collegefix.com. Ryan's second place time, Ryan's the last name of this person, Ryan's second place time of 4:55.91 in the girls' 1,600 meters wasn't even close to placing in the top 29 of boy finishers.
Sounds about right.
The 29th last place boy had a time of 4:46.54. The last place boy beat number 2 in the girls, and because they take the top 3, the 4th place finisher doesn't get to go to state. I don't need to, I don't know if I need to. I don't think I should need to explain why this is so sad. This to me is obvious to everybody who's paying any attention. The problem is, and one of the reasons why one of the biggest pushbacks against this is, how often is this actually happening? When someone says how often, how frequently is this actually taking place? That is not a defense for any time that it takes place. And if it happens to your daughter, if it happens to my daughter, it's a problem. I don't need to know that there are 300 other cases out there to then go, well, I think this is an issue for my daughter as well. It either is an issue or it isn't an issue. On the principle of the matter, should this individual be able to participate in a race where they have a biological advantage because they were born a male? I don't really particularly care what this individual chooses to do with the way they identify, the way they present themselves, whatever, but you cannot have 2 brain cells to rub together in your head and not see that this is an incredibly unfair situation.
Yeah. This is also the frequency with which it's happening is more than it was 5 years ago, which is more than it was 10 years ago. It's increasing in frequency. So like you said, if you don't talk about it now, it's going to be even more in 5 years and even more than that in 5 years. And it's to say that it doesn't matter. This is the cutting edge of social progressivism right now, is gender issues. This is where the battle is. So to say that it doesn't matter just because, well, it's not happening often enough, I would ask that same person, well, at what level does it become an issue for you then? Because you're clearly not defending it. You're saying it's just not happening enough. So where does that line, is it cross where you're like, oh, that's enough? That's where it has to stop.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to have the idea that, well, it doesn't happen enough, because like by saying it doesn't happen enough for me to worry about it, you're admitting that what is happening is in fact wrong, and it's just the amount that it happens. Well, either something's wrong or it's not.
Well, so go ahead, finish that.
Well, if it's wrong, then it needs to stop, even if it happens once. Go ahead.
Well, I think that the persistence with which it's increasing in frequency means that there aren't enough people standing up and saying what is obviously true. And the fact that there isn't a nice, easy solution where you can tie this up in a bow makes people want to back away from the issue, because people don't want to say, they don't want to look at this and go, this isn't fair. This isn't fair. When you say this isn't fair, the obvious antithesis in culture is that, why do you hate this person who wants to run in this race and just be accepted for who they are? And the truth is, just because there isn't an easy solution doesn't mean that you have to accept the only one that's been thrust upon young girls right now, where they're losing their identity. If the dads don't speak up ferociously on this issue, where are all my girl dads? Where are they? Hashtag girl dad. Go put it in Twitter right now and see how many people have that as part of their Twitter profile. It's supposed to mean something to be a girl dad. I've got 3 girls myself. My husband is certainly a girl dad. I don't know what that means to him, but for people who have used that pretty much in the wake of Kobe Bryant, the idea that you're a girl dad, that's got to mean something to you. You're a girl dad. Does that mean something to you? Is it different to be the dad of a girl than it does of a boy, and screw whatever culture is going to think about what you're about to say. Like, when you look at parenting your two sons versus your daughter, I imagine that there is something that is different.
Yeah, it's completely different. We're very careful about what all of them see, but there are conversations that now, my kids they're turning 9 this week, actually, the twins. There are conversations that I've begun to have with my older son that I'm not having with my older daughter, because I'm leaving that to mom. So even just at this age, which I think will be more and more as they get older, the gender issue stuff, it's already coming to light that I treat my daughter a little bit differently than I treat my sons.
I would guess, if you haven't already, I would guess that there will be conversations that exist in your parenting future that you have to your son about your daughter, especially with them being the same age.
Well, that's already happened too.
Sure.
Yeah, because my sons are aggressive, and sometimes they get too aggressive with her, and we say, no, you can't do that to your sister. You're supposed to protect your sister.
Well, I'm talking about that last thing. When they go out into high school and they're doing the things that take place, outside of parental adult supervision, and they're with their friends and they're having a good time, just like we all did when we were that age. The idea that you have a son who will probably more frequently than a lot of people have the benefit of not having twins like you do, you've kind of got eyes and ears out there for your daughter. I would think that you would lean into that as an asset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. We've already got it planned out how the cars will work, that they're going to share a car. They're not going to get one. So that one of them has to be with the other one.
That's a smart move. And for me, God gave me a son first. He's 13. And then God said, watch this. And then he gave me 3 daughters. And he said that mostly to my husband, which just makes me laugh. It's very entertaining to watch him. I mean, my husband is fantastic at it. I taught my husband something, and he would agree to this. We coached girls basketball. We've coached girls basketball for a long time, but it was maybe 2014, and my husband was teaching in a grade school, and we were coaching girls basketball, 8th grade level girls basketball, through middle school. And my husband said to me, it was the first time he'd ever coached girls and was like the head coach. He said to me something to the effect of like, I don't know how I'm going to coach girls. And I said, you're coaching athletes. You're not coaching girls. You're coaching athletes. Treat them like that. They will respond in kind. And he's always taken that to heart since then, especially with our daughters as well. I mean, they're not just girls. They're all the things that boys are. But at the end of the day, when everything is reconciled and it's the bottom line and you're the dad and you're the daughter, that just means something different than when you're the mom and the daughter. Same thing with mothers and sons. Where are the girl dads on this issue? Where are the girl dads that see their daughters or see other people's daughters having to deal with these challenges? Somebody has to stand up for what is right here. And this is the tragedy of it. You're going to get a bunch of high school girls. Are you going to get a bunch of high school girls who are going to stand up and really make this a large issue for people to consume? It's got to be bigger than that. It's got to be the female athletes that have come before them, that have been successful on whatever platform. Caitlyn Jenner is out there saying that it's wrong. Do they listen to her? No, because she's a Republican. She's the only thing you're not allowed to be. Tim Scott, do they listen to him when he talks about issues? No. Is he black? Yes, but he's a Republican. It's the one thing you're not allowed to be. There are a lot of liberal Democrats who know that trans female athletes taking the place of girls in high school and youth sports is wrong. College sports, it's wrong. But I have yet to see the wave of appropriate feminism really sweep over this country and just be a little less afraid of speaking common sense out loud. It doesn't mean you hate anybody. It doesn't mean you wish ill on that person, but you just say, this isn't fair. It just isn't.
Yes. And you hit on the key issue right there. People are afraid because it's the stream of the world. There's a lot of other things that they'll stand up for because there's not much on the line. But with that one, that's the cutting edge of social progressivism, and they're afraid to stand up against it.
With this topic specifically, they've weaponized people's own politeness against them. And like the polite thing to do is not to say anything. And so they use that, like people's desire to be polite, to not be rude. Like Annie was saying, we don't have anything against transgender athletes. We don't. We just don't think that it's fair for you to compete in a sport with a girl. It's just not fair. That's the end of the story. But it's rude, or you might hurt somebody's feelings or whatever. And that's the cudgel that they bludgeon you with over and over and over again. So that, like you were saying, where are the girl dads? Well, they're trying not to be rude to people.
Time to be rude.
It's time.
Who's going to, like, what's going to push you over the edge to say the thing that people don't want to hear? It's your daughter. It's the fact that your daughter is the one in the crossfire. And that's when you stand up and you do things that seem in an objective, non-emotionally charged situation, make you seem like you're off your rocker a little bit. But you have to be willing to do what needs to be done in speaking up for common sense. And like I said, everybody knows it. It's obvious.
I want to say too, dads are having these conversations with other dads.
Speak up.
It's already happening, but they're just not talking to, the officials or the principals or whoever. But they are talking to each other, but you have to step out of that comfort zone at some point.
It frustrates me because if there aren't biological girls who are losing opportunities, I don't think that this conversation exists like this.
No.
They're taking the place of girls who will never, ever, ever be able to compete on the level that these trans female athletes are competing at, because they just aren't biologically the same. That's the whole purpose of separate boy and girl sports. That's the whole point. And it happened again in California. And I feel like this is one of those issues that when I see it happen and it's another story, I think to myself, gosh, are we going to talk about that again? I just talked about that last week. If I don't talk about it every time it happens, then people are going to continue to go, well, how often does this really happen? Well, I don't know. I guess I'll just make a habit of these stories when they come across my timeline. I'm just going to tell you about them so that maybe you feel a little more emboldened to speak, not out of hate, to speak kindly, but to be stern about what is obvious to everybody. It's just not fair. And in order to not allow these girls to be marginalized in their own sports, common sense must prevail. Speak up with kindness. This is an issue that can be handled with kindness, even if the opposite side of the fence on this issue is making nasty, threatening assertions about you. Just because they say it doesn't make it true. We all know that. Okay, when we come back, the YouTube live chat poll, we'll get your results, your thoughts on this issue. I'm interested to hear how you feel about the House Republicans right now. If you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, you can grade the House GOP. Is it an A, B/C, a D, or an F? Hannah's got your thoughts and the results when we come back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
With no shoes on their feet, how's the people living in the street? Oh, there's a solution.
So I'm checking the date right here. It says it's May 22nd today. The hybrid system bundle at Air Comfort Service. Huge opportunity to save, but it's only through May 26th. So I'm going to give you the phone number here. Just jot it down or type it into your phone in just a second to find out how you can save up to $7,500 in manufacturer and utility rebates, tax credits on a hybrid HVAC system. Plus, if you bundle your new hybrid system with attic insulation, you're going to save an additional 20%. Boy, are you going to be sitting in your comfort zone without having to pump all of that unnecessary energy through your home and into your electric bill or your energy bill. You save an extra 20% with that attic insulation addition. Here's the number you need to call to connect with Air Comfort Service. I'm a customer of theirs. I encourage you to give them the opportunity to earn your business also. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. They're a 9-time recipient of Carrier's President's Award, and they are a top workplace by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Plus, they have thousands of 5-star reviews online. 314-513-0091. AirComfortService.com.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Ad paid for by Abadian and Totalian. COVID-19 was tough on businesses. If you experienced a negative impact to your business during the pandemic and have at least 5 W-2 employees, then you need to pay attention. There are some new powerful incentives that have been created specifically for businesses impacted by COVID-19. One such program is the Employee Retention Credit. Its tax incentive could bring you some serious cash back to your business. Even if you received a PPP loan in 2020 or 2021, you were still permitted to receive this credit. There are many ways to be eligible, and taking advantage of this tax credit doesn't need to be complicated. We made it easy for you by doing the legwork to maximize the amount of your refund due. Call us today at 800-874-1654 and we'll set your business up to take full advantage of the Employee Retention Tax Credit. That's 800-874-1654. Again, 800-874-1654. We'll get the ball rolling on getting you and your business some much-needed relief, but time is limited to file a claim. So call 800-874-1654.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
Jason Chaffetz was on the show today. He made some bold predictions about the debt ceiling that he said were exclusive to the Annie Frey show. So you should probably listen to that at 12:25. Rewind on your Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast. You can pick that up too. The time right now is 2:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Is this the week that Ron DeSantis gets in the run for the White House? We'll talk about it Monday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Right outside of this one church town, there's a gold dirt road to a whole lot of nothing. Got a deed to the land, but it ain't my ground. This is God's.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Because it brings a grain and a little bit of money. We put it back in the plate. I guess that's why they call it God's country.
I feel like the song, if you're listening to the song and you hate conservatives, you probably just think the song's a threat.
Like they're saying this is God's country and you better get out.
No, if you're just if you good grief, I was just gonna do a bunch of profiling. If you're far on the left, actively, passionately, religiously, and you hear this song come on a radio station, you just immediately know what kind of people we are.
Well, yeah, that's safe to say.
Are they right?
Yeah.
I think they probably are. I need you to do me a favor. Google the lyrics to open Google.
Done.
Toby Keith, Willie Nelson. Beer for my horses.
I
want you to read these incredibly dated, problematic lyrics on the Annie Frey Show.
I don't know the song, so I'm just going to read it as is.
Perfect. Just read it.
Okay. Willie, man, come on. The 6 o'clock news said somebody's been shot. Somebody's been abused. Somebody blew up a building. Somebody stole a car. Somebody got away. Somebody didn't get too far. Yeah. They didn't get too far. Grandpappy told my pappy, back in the day, son, a man had to answer for the wicked that he'd done. Take all the rope in Texas, find a tall oak tree. Round up all them bad boys, hang them high in the street for all the people to see. That justice is the one thing you should always find. You got to saddle up your boys. You got to draw a hard line. When the gun smoke settles, we'll sing a victory tune. And we'll all meet back at the local saloon. We'll raise up our glasses against evil forces singing, whiskey for my men, beer for my horses. That last line didn't rhyme. It was rhyming up until beer for my horses.
Sounds good in the song.
All right. We got too many gangsters doing dirty deeds. Too much corruption and crime in the streets. It's time the long arm of the law put a few more in the ground. Send them all to their maker and he'll settle them down. You can bet he'll settle them down. Because justice is the one thing you should always find. You got to saddle up your boys. You got to draw a hard line. When the gun smoke settles, we'll sing a victory tune. We'll all meet back at the local saloon. We'll raise up our glasses against evil forces, singing, whiskey for my men, beer for my horses. Whiskey for my men, beer for my horses.
Isn't that kind of like all the things that you're not supposed to say in one song? And here's the thing. Part of it's Toby Keith, and you're like, oh, I get it. It's Toby Keith. The other part is Willie Nelson. And Willie Nelson is a pot-smoking hippie with braids. That's who he is. That's who he's always been. And he was comfortable singing that song because it was a song in, I'm guessing, 2003.
You got it.
Boom. And it was a huge success. Could you write that song right now and play it? I don't know. Maybe you can on country music radio.
Well, the thing is, country has moved left too. I mean, they say the country industry is super, super woke, but I don't know about what makes it to the radio.
I think that there are multiple factions of country music right now, and that whole idea of bro country, which I despise. Sorry, Hannah. She's a big fan.
I'm a fan of all country music.
She's like, yeah, I know. I created bro country. Thanks, Annie. You should apologize to me. I was listening to that song. It popped up on my car, and I just listened to it, and I'm like, yeah, Willie, speak on it. He was saying all the right things. Justice is the one thing you should always find. I mean, some of the stuff is a little old Western, like the old kind of way of justice, which is if you're singing whiskey for my men and beer for my horses, you're implying there's horse transportation, which kind of dates it, of course.
Maybe he's talking about the horses in the back of his
Mustang
carriage of his truck. You know, they're transporting horses.
Probably not.
Getting them drunk first.
Yeah. Another side note is that song, when you listen to it, sometimes it sounds like whiskey for my men, beef for my horses. Instead of beer for my horses. But anywho, I just thought, what an interesting set of lyrics for a song that could in some way, shape, or form. I mean, there's some aggressive death in that song, justice wise. Let's set that aside for the 2023 version of it. But the idea of saying there are good things and there are bad things, and if you do bad things, you should have to serve the consequences of those bad things. You don't hear that anymore.
Yeah, and the problem is it's real plain. You know, it's a real common, normal thing to say if somebody commits a crime, they should do the time.
Yeah.
It's not controversial. This song is 20 years old, almost to the date, actually. It was just last month that it was been released. 20 years. I can't imagine if they were this frustrated with the justice system in 2003, what Willie and Toby think about the justice system now. I want them to write a sequel.
I want someone to ask Willie Nelson to defend it.
That'd be great.
Because I think he would.
Yeah.
I think he'd be like, shut up. Or in the words of Joe Biden, shush up. And then that's kind of how you handle these things, in my opinion. Knock it off. Move along.
Willie, to me, would seem like a traditional liberal.
Yes.
Even kind of, he's got more of the outlaw thing going on than probably a traditional liberal would. But still, as far as the libertarian
the thing
aspect,
that makes him super lib is his pot.
Yeah.
And Toby Keith is as high as he ever was. So, anywho. I was amused by that. You want to do the poll results?
Yes. Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking for all of you to grade the House GOP and their performance. You could either give them an A, a B, or a C, a D, or an F. We went around earlier in the room. Annie and Brad and sort of, or wait, no.
Brian and Annie were A's. Brad was not giving A's away.
Unfair
They're
B.
Unattainable A's, but a very happy and confident B/C.
Mm-hmm.
You said, and then you said
B+.
B/C. Oh, it's a B+ now.
Oh my gosh.
It's like inflation.
What did you say though, Hannah? You said BC?
I said B to C confidently. Brad's switches answer 15 times.
The one thing that I'll give you, Hannah, is that you said nothing that you thought they had done had really cracked through. I may be paraphrasing here.
Yeah.
But I think that that's probably true. That's not really their fault, though, I'm saying. That they're trying.
You graded them an A.
And I gave them an A, but I will give you that deference.
That's all based on perspective and how does it cut through to Hannah? How is it going to cut through to me or to you or to Brad is going to be different than how it cuts through to Hannah.
Yeah.
And if they want to earn an A from a 21-year-old, they need to make sure that is a message that's conveyed. And if they haven't done that yet, that's on them.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Or a 39-year-old male producer.
Dirk says that he gave them the grade a D. I haven't seen anything that has changed. They have hearings with no results. With the expectation of party and topics, nothing else has changed.
What results? What results could we have?
What exactly? What do you mean?
If Dirk says they have hearings with no results,
Oh.
I think they've exposed a lot. Which is at the end, isn't that what it's about? Exposure. I guess they want indictments and stuff.
Yeah, and that's just not going to happen.
Linda says that she gave them a B or a C. They will get an A if they stick to their guns with their budget.
I hear that.
Here are the final results of our listeners' grades that they give the House GOP. 61% of the people gives the House GOP a B or a C. That's pretty overwhelming amount, 61%. Tied for second place, 15% of the people give them an A, 15% of people give them a D. And 9% of the people say that the House GOP deserves an F, failing grade.
9% is probably our Democrat listenership.
I think that is, if I'm the House GOP, I'm seeing that and saying, I like it. There's room for improvement. Let's go. That if you're getting a 61%, well, I guess a 76% passing grade, C or above, you're thinking, okay. But trying to elevate that more so that you can do, because that's the other thing, folks. If you're giving them that tight of a B or a C and you want them to get more done, you got to give them more seats in the House. You got to expand that majority. They've got one now. It needs to be bigger. Stick around. The Mark Reardon Show is coming up next. If you didn't hear it, Jason Chaffetz at 12:25. Rewind on the app or keep it right here for the Mark Reardon Show next.
May is a great time for savings with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here for my friends at Chesterfield Fence. You can save 20% off your